I've been up for very long. Before I go do my yoga. I have to get this resume done, so I'm going to be filling it out with this stuff, and I'm going to write this back really quickly here. I got to stop playing around. How's it going, Quint? I will today. I'm going to be kind of busy, but tomorrow there's a good chance I'm going to be able to get to pegging a little bit. I hope. Don't know that for sure, but we'll see. If so, it might be. I don't know. You'll probably be asleep. Actually, your time. I'm like just still waking up. I know it's not attractive. All right, so we're gonna do this resume. So web w3, address, socials, find me on. That was a great one. I like that one. Name, handle, Twitter, handle, Rob, linked to twitter.com/Rob. If you have questions, though, let me know. If you're just coming in. Hi, Mateus. Oh. All right. Let's see. Repeated running. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this, yeah. So. I don't know how we're going to do examples, but I guess this will work. Do the examples get translated? I wonder if it's good enough to do that. Let me go check. Go generate. Nope. Socials undefined. Oh, site. Name, handle, link. Yeah, that's probably better as a site since it's a handle. Yep. Site, a bunch of sites. So let's see if we can build that. Wow, that worked. Okay, schema.pb.go. And where is our site reference? There it is. Come on. There you are. Where are you? There you are. Whoops. Ooh, all right. So Find Me On is a collection of site pointers. Oh, I love this tool. I just tell you, I love this. A site tool. Okay, so that's a thing. Find Me On. We already did. Okay. So that is working. Oopsie. I'll turn you guys down. Hi, Baps. Did I say that right, by the way? I've never asked you. Did I say that name right? Baffs. Alright, so have links in that. I mean, Baffs. Okay. Just checking. Username they call it. We didn't. We called it handle, and then we watched Convoy. I just watched it again this morning because it was still on my screen. I was like so happy. That song makes me so happy. I can't explain it. I was running down. I gotta memorize it. It'd be like it's esoteric, weird American trivia. It's like the one thing about the South. We complain about politics all the time, but there's something about the South that I do still really like. It's just very visceral and stuff, but okay, URL. We need to make another validation. I'm not going to do it right now. We're going to do that later though. Link is fine. Link is a URL. We can almost say that link is a URL. I kind of want to do the validator real quick. Can I try that? Let's try. Field presence, no. Optional. We already looked for the optional thing. Okay, no. You can go away. I need to look up the syntax for that again. I don't remember where I'm going to read about it. It's protoc gen validate. I need to bookmark this. I actually have this bookmarked. This is interesting. This is from Envoy proxy, which is one of the ones, the proxy I'm probably going to use. Yeah, I'm gonna set up an Envoy proxy on my server so people can get my resume as a gRPC quote request. I'm definitely gonna do that too. That's got to be a part of it. It's not a true, gRPC resume unless you have that. So the crazy thing is that once I do that, once I do that just for fun, I can actually store other people's resumes for query as well, which means I can just put a search engine on it after that. I mean, it's done. We've got a microservice on a macro internet that people can use to query your resumes, just because we had this fun project. So I'm a big fan of crazy experimentation. It looks like this came from Lyft, though. I thought that was interesting. I'm still not finding the... It was here, I think. Here we go. I should probably just... Yeah, I think I already did, actually. Let's go. Yeah, as usual, just go to the source, Luke. If you download the source, you're gonna get more information than probably wanted. But hey, Jim. Now I'm all hot. I'm gonna put still have my shirt from last night on because I slept in it. Life of a coder. Eat, sleep. You saw that, right? Where is it? There it is. Eat, sleep, code, repeat. I am going to do some yoga here after I get done with this. I got to finish it, though. I have a meeting today. And it's time for me to lose the coder body. I gotta give my regular body back. See, I'm adding all Google and Facebook tracking to my new sites. Of course you are. Shame on you. It is fun knowing where everyone came from, though. I mean, I did that for a while on my site. I was like, where are people coming? Yeah. My ex-wife doesn't know, but we know every time she looks at anything we do. Because there's only like 1 or 2 people in that area who ever look at anything. It's either her or the kids. My kids don't look at the stuff, some of the stuff. Yeah. So, my secret's out of the bag. Oh no, we know when my ex-wife is stalking us. Whatever will we do? When are you going to pay us the 70 grand you owed us? That's my question. So, here we go. Work, username, username, URL, I guess it's time to start listing the work. That's what a resume is about. We never really got that. You ever told anyone you were on the side of good? That's like my stepson's defense. I call it the asshole defense. He's so good with it too. He taught me it, and I'm getting better at it. He's like, well, I never said I wasn't an asshole. I'm just saying you are. About I never said I was good at cleaning the dishes. I just said you need to be. It's like weaponized hypocrisy. It's what it is. It's weaponized hypocrisy. It's awesome. Good time zones, Artivix in chat. Well, Okay, here we go. It is pretty funny, isn't it? It's a great defense. It's like, I know what's right. Doesn't mean I have to be right. Doesn't mean I have to be good. I know what's good, which is why I can tell you what's not good, because I know it, because I'm not it. So, I do teach people how to go around and Google track it, so it's a balance. How to get around it? Oh, okay, there you go. It's like a reformed spy going on a tour of St. Petersburg and telling the tour guide there all about his ventures as a spy in St. Petersburg. That may have actually happened. That was great. That was my favorite. That was one of my favorite tours to take through St. Petersburg. We docked the ship, and we had probably 15 or 20 retired American spies. Oh my God, it was so amazing. The stories they had. Listen to me. Don't listen to anyone else. Listen to me. Don't listen to anyone. Exactly, Mateus. You were in Moscow, not St. Petersburg, where I was spying? Mm-hmm. I bet you were. Moskva. Not St. Petersburg. Ну ладно. Давай. Надо заниматься. Надо заниматься programming. All right, find site. Okay, this always pumps me up. So we got some coffee music here. All right, so we're on to the part which is actually a good thing in a resume: work. We spent all this time on the information about me, and we're finally to the work section. So, time for coffee and food. Yes, go for it. Work is an array, apparently. So, I just used PHP again for the first time in 8 years. An old comfy pair of slippers. Okay, yeah, I guess, that's how I was when I write Perl, actually. To use instead of Python and PHP. Something to use instead. Depends on what you're doing. I'm not trying to be, avoidant. Is that a word? Word examination. Avoidant. Nice conversation. Coffee and the music. Avoidant personality disorder. Apparently it's a thing, and it's not only that, it's a disorder. The definition of avoidant is tending to avoid or shun something, meaning absolutely means of coping through what? Especially as a means of coping and anxiety and stress. This is a really important word that I've just added to my lexicon. I'm going to be using it a lot. Avoidant. Avoidant personality disorder. APD. Okay. Anyway. So, site. We have site here. Work. So, I guess work is kind of a category. A repeated category. So, I don't know. I guess it goes under resume, right? So, yeah. If we could do this, we could do repeated work. You have repeated work. Who knew? And I guess we can have work. So we have work. Personal budget software access via web CLI. Well, that's an easy one. I mean, for me, I would do all of that and go with HTTP servers, and I wouldn't use Nginx at all. That's just me. If it's actual software, I'd make a case. So the standard way to do websites these days, some people take me to task on this, but I don't care, is to make an API on the back end, and if you want a database, fine, and have that provide all of this stuff. That's what gRPC and WebSockets and stuff like that are about. Provide all that data, publish it, I suppose, to the web, to whatever, and then have your front end come down and get that stuff and then do whatever you want with it. And the front end can be a web browser, it can be a CLI, and you can do both. So that's how GitHub gets away with having GH as their new command line thing, which is all in Go, by the way. And so that's what I would suggest. Those languages are Go and JavaScript React, or JavaScript Vue or React. If I were building that app, I would do the back end in Go, and I would do the front end in Vue. That's how I would do it. I may actually do that on stream because I'm gonna be building a bunch of stuff. Pull data as JSON and do the math locally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You could even, I mean, if you do it in Go, you could even do the data transfer without doing it in JSON. You could do it as gRPC with protobufs. I'm just protobuf crazy right now. I'm gonna do everything as protobufs because you can make JSON and YAML out of protobuf, but you can't go the opposite way. I mean, you can read it, but so work. What is work? Let's define what work is, shall we? I almost want to put job. Should we put jobs? Should we put jobs here, or should we put work? We should put work, and we should put I've had several jobs. You know what? I'm going to keep this colloquial. Of course, we made one of them find me on, so one of them is going to be jobs. Jobs. So repeated work is equals to jobs. Work. I could put job, but I like having like a work section. So, you know what though? What I've been really trying to figure out is what the best way to, repeated work. Actually, I don't understand why we have to have two things there. I think I might not be getting the syntax right somehow. String, I guess should we put organization or name? I don't know. Nats.io. Ooh. You're doing with Nats.io? Yeah. Well, Nats. I'm looking forward to learning about Nats as well. You're doing your whole thing on Nats though. That's cool. I'll have to do that next. I have to get this job and then, so I can have insurance. That's the only reason. I mean, the money's nice too. Don't get me wrong. So, I'm just gonna put name equals 1. Work is kind of a verb, so that's why I kind of don't want to use it. I'm a stickler for that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna see what expected field name on line 17. I was trying to get away with it. Okay, so work is a repeated work. Or I could put jobs. Repeated job is jobs. I mean, your resume at the end of the day is about, it's actually occupation. That's really fancy sounding. Should I do that? Yes, that's what we're going to do. We're going to say your work history is a repeated occupation. Because sometimes a job is getting paid for it. Sometimes you're doing things you're not getting paid for it. That counts as an occupation. So words matter, right? And we'll call that work. So repeated occupation is work. There. I'm loving this. You know, I'm loving this. I'm loving that we were able to throw out JSON schema. So occupation. What is an occupation? So you have, what do you have for that? You have things to think about here. Type items. This is so stupid. Why did they have, I hate JSON schema. I'm going to say it. I use the word hate. I use the word hate. Load entirely. What's that from? For 10 points. I got to get my points going. I really do. That's the most urgent, unnecessary thing I need to do. Location, string. We already did this. Do we need to have, I guess, okay, so location doesn't have to be a fancy thing. All right, fine. So location. It could be like, it doesn't have to be big time. Location is just a string. All right, fine. I hate that you have to do this. That's also driving me crazy. So I need something to help me with the numbers. Because I'm lazy. String. Description. How's it going, Quint? Damn. What are you damning? There's many things you could damn on this line. Changed your nick by accident. Oh boy. Are you in like name? Are you in Nick jail? And you can't change it like for another. Guess you are. Oh, I know who you are. I want to say you're probably pain artist. I guess tired of people calling you pain artist. Yeah, well, see, I'm smart like that. Because KW sounds like a Q. Yeah, I'm so smart. I figured out the riddle. That is a very long word. I'm okay with it though. I'm okay with long words. Gonna be okay with. I know. I don't. You know what? But then that's a slippery slope, right? Because now you're doing that all over the place. But it's gonna be in a chain. So we literally have words like portfolio and occupation in this thing. So this is about clarity. So and it's also gonna turn into a YAML that I'm gonna submit to someone. So I'm going for long words. I forgot all about that. I just answered my own question. Yeah. I actually want long words. You know why? Because the resulting YAML file, I'm no joke, I'm going to submit my YAML file as my resume. I'm going to submit a text YAML file as my resume. There's nothing that says you can't. You can submit anything else, right? I'm going to submit a text YAML file, which means that it has to be able to read well, which means I can't put DESC in there because they'll get mad. Because you'd never put that on a resume. So there we go. That's my new measuring stick when it comes to what I'm going to put on here. Description, position. What is that? Like, what did you do there? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, this is a company name. This should be like organization, I would think, right? Organization. So it doesn't have to be an enterprise. Organization is the right word there. The word org is not reserved for nonprofits, despite what people think on the internet. You love what you're doing in Proto. It's kind of fun. Description, I'm going to say, I would say title. No, position. Position is probably the right one. Position. I think position is the right English word for this. This is great. We can actually check this against UK English, the Queen's English. I don't even know how to do that accent. Whenever I do English accents, it's like a combination of Aussie, Cockney, English. But I would love to study that stuff. The Queen is half German. That makes sense. Yeah. So you should all be speaking German. Yeah. My wife is big into that right now. Why would we have URL here? I don't understand this. I guess if you wanted to provide what company this is like web developers making a resume schema. It's like, well, I work for this company and here's its URL. First of all, I'm going to call it site. Site is a very broad word though. Have you ever attended? I kind of want to make, instead of portfolio, I'm going to say website. We're going to do that instead. So there. Online software conferences. No, you know what? I wanted to. Eric the dev, who does the Go stuff. I mean, he and I were kind of talking a bit there while he was setting up the Go conference, and then I told him I wasn't going to go to the conference because it costs $100 to go to an online conference. And I'm not saying it's not worth it. I'm not a conference guy in general. I talk about that a lot before. I tend to not be a conference guy. It's because, I would rather meet people online during live streaming. And I've met some amazing people this way. And at the end of the day, what is conferencing for? Conferences is for education and rubbing shoulders with people who have common interests and blah, blah, blah. And, you can it's just like college. You can accomplish those goals in different ways. and I'm not against conferences. I find conferences to be extremely inefficient. Extremely inefficient. There's a Linux conference that they have here, and every time I try to think to go to it, my number one criteria is how cool is the T-shirt. It's because the talks and stuff. This time they had ESR. Eric Freeman, he came and talked at it, and I was like, wow, it'd probably be cool to meet him. And it just wasn't worth throwing away a full day. What's that? You can please go ahead and advertise. If you have a conference, go ahead and advertise it. Are you advertising the Go one or the KubeCon? Or look, I'm not against people advertising conferences in here. If you want to go, but I haven't gone to a lot of conferences, to tell you the truth. The only conference I've ever been to has been two conferences I've been to. One of them was I went to, well, the tech one. I go into the local Linux, conference twice in my entire life. That's it. The other conference I went to, the major conference, was Outdoor Retailer in Utah, back when I was running a paddleboard meetup. Yeah, I was the first employee of the paddleboard company here in North Carolina when it started back in 2009. Aloha paddles, so I was in Utah at the time, and I asked permission, so I went to Outdoor Retailer. It was amazing. Boy, the free swag. I wish I could still find my hat. I can't find my favorite hat. I got this Toes on the Nose hat from them. It was fantastic. I mean, it was just so much fun. But it's Outdoor Retailer. It's a conference that's selling you stuff. It's like a design for retailers to go see all the cool new products and decide which ones they want to put in their store and stuff. And I really liked that conference. That conference was a blast. They had like a beer garden, and they had dancing going on, and they had a lake. I got to hang out with the world champion paddleboarder for about 10 minutes, just completely randomly, because he saw I was doing a meetup, so he took pity on me and hung out with me, and I just wanted to talk to me about the different techniques. The guy was so ripped. I wasn't a slouch, but my God, he was like, it was really fun. So I get why conferences are fun, but if I were going to go to more conferences, they would be like my son. He goes to conventions all the time. So, but conferences and conventions are different, I think, aren't they? Open source event in Brussels. Cool. I think organizing online conferences is worthy of doing. I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they pull that off. There's no way you're going to be able to charge $800 for a week of online access. That's just, people aren't going to pay that. Someone. It just depends. I mean, companies have got budgets to pay for this stuff, and a lot of these conferences run off the budgets that companies assign to people so they can go drink beer and say that they're doing something. Dad, hey Tori. It's been a while. This Tori is crazy. Tori is really crazy, just so everybody knows. He, she, they love to call me daddy. I don't know why. They just do. And, I'm okay with it. I don't judge. So we kind of accept everyone here. I think it's really nice that they, I'm trying to use my they pronoun. Can you tell? The Linux Foundation runs the conference tickets for 50 to 100. Yes. That's good to know, Darby. CK Darby. Thank you. Join for coming. Yeah. I think, I honestly, I mean, I was slamming on the Linux Foundation. I wasn't really slamming. I was a little bit afraid of them recently. But let me just say this. I think the Linux Foundation is walking the fine line between corporate control and an open source thing very well. I might not like the fact that they still have a 3-year expiring certificate with stuff in it that you could learn on your own. But it's not too much, so it's not like I'm endorsing them or I'm not endorsing them. I just think that the Linux Foundation and cloud native under the Linux Foundation. I think they're, as corporations go, they're corporate run things. They're walking that fine line well. I would prefer that it be more like more open and more like Linux personally, but I think that they figured out what that is. And there's the people that are just out straight up to just get money, and they're kind of in the middle of that. So anyway, some interest, fosdem.org. Yeah, the money for conferences is insane. I think honestly, I know this is going to be a very controversial opinion, but I don't think it's a good thing for companies to pay their employees $1,200 to go to a conference. I've never thought that was a good idea. I think it's a waste of money. But that's me. I hadn't paid. So FOSDEM, yay. This looks really cool. It's a free event to software developers to meet, share ideas, and collaborate. This is really cool. Thank you for this. So there's that. Cobra, I hate it. I really hate Cobra. I really hate it. The guys who made it, the people who made it are fantastic programmers. They're amazing people. But I really, really hate, so much so that I made my own commander instead of using it. And I, you can't say hate something without getting attacked by people who say, "Oh, how dare you?" I just did. Sorry, I refuse to. It's just so poorly designed. I really, really, really hate it. Plus, it doubles down on the idea of. So this is okay. You asked me my favorite question. So my idea of a commander should be something that is easy for people to use. This is a UI. It's interesting too because I'm applying to a terminal UI and a command line UI job, and it's going to be, yeah. How's it going? Oh, thank you for the topic reminder, Quint. Anyway, so thank you. But now you know. I'm really easy to derail, especially in the morning when I'm drinking coffee. But you got my answer. Okay, so I would rather there's not a single dash in anything ever. I would rather there just be subcommands and people learn actual syntax of like humans, and then it can be translated into conversational UIs. That's my preference there. A lot of people go to conferences to work on company projects that they really would not normally be told no. Maybe, I don't know. Look, people go to conferences for all the reasons except for what they even tell you how to convince your boss to let you go to a conference to justify. If you want to read about this, this is called Command Tab. It's not completely baked. But if you want to read about it and the justification for it, it's written about here. So I'll make this short and sweet so people don't get mad. Thanks, Rob. So you can read about it. If you're interested in kind of testing it, how to do it, if you want to see a project that uses it, here's my auth project uses it, and you can see how I organize it. The best part about it is how it organizes each of the subcommands in a way that provides documentation automatically. And that's the way I think a commander should be. It can do dashes and stuff. I've got my own parser to handle that if you want that. But I really don't like propagating the idea of using dashes for everything. And people love to yell at me for that, but I don't. If I have in my world, I would never use another dash again in anything I ever make, because it just doesn't play nice with conversational UIs and with APIs and grammars and all that other stuff. And the more you put those in there, the more you're eliminating the ability for your software to be integrated with a grammar. And you know how big I am on grammars, right? So I am for a world that has nothing but subcommands and options. It actually is more like the actual language that we use instead of this made up dashy get up shit. I hate it. Thank you for asking me about my favorite rant. One of my favorite rants. It's a very contrarian opinion. People don't like that opinion in the industry, in the software industry. They're like, oh, you have to have this and this. Yeah, exactly, Quint. How many times have you typed the wrong number of dashes into a thing? Or you don't know if there's an equals after it, right? You have to go through get a minor in command line for a particular application, and then you have to do the same thing for the next one. When instead you could have just, look, I'm going to do it again. So not only does my command tab show you this, but what is the number one best way to figure out what's possible? The tab, the all-powerful tab. So then you do this, auth tab, you hit tab twice, you get all your options. Well, what one do I want? What's conf about? Well, let me type help conf. Let me read about that. Oh, okay. Auth, tab, conf, tab, whatever. The best human interface there is that doesn't require you to look up a man page before you even enter the command is something that uses tab. And Cobra doesn't even support tab completion. I actually opened an issue on this. I did open an issue on it just to see what they would do with it, and they're like struggling, and they're like flailing it around. It's like somebody threw a match into an ant pile. How do I add tab completion? Oh, it has it already. Oh, really? Show me. Where? And then it's just, I hate it. And yet it's in everything. They keep bragging about how it's in everything. And I'm like, God, no, I'm never putting that in anything I do. If somebody forces me to put it in something, I will. Matt, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, sue me, you know. I'm not saying my interface is perfect. It's not finished. I want to add some more automated documentation. But I haven't done that yet, and I will. But message occupation. Let's see, start date. Oh yeah, we have to have that. We have to have start dates and end dates for sure. String, that's like a given. Wait, do we have to? Okay, so dates it says here are by ISO. Oh wait. I know that there's a thing we can do here. I just have to go look it up. Give me 1 second. So it's timestamp. We're gonna use timestamp here, and yeah. They have an internal. I'm sorry, I just can't do this. God damn it. I think it's time date, isn't it, Quint? Do you know? We lost our Protobuf expert. Tani's not here. Taniwa. Where is it? I know it's here. Where is it? It's like kind of at the end. Well, there we go. Timestamp. Really? That's all? All right. Timestamp and duration both have types. So these are things that, you know what? I love prototype, proto-IDL, prototype, whatever. I don't either. No, 0. So timestamp. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Is it time date? What? Oh man. You realize what this means? Should we make it a timestamp or should we make it just a string? I think we should probably make it a string because we want to let them define. It's not timestamp because it's like a really precise timestamp. You know what? No timestamp. You know what? I'm going to make this a string. You know why? Because it's going into raise me. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because they need to be able to decide how to. It has to be a timestamp because we're going to actually do date comparison on it. So I'm going to keep it as timestamp. Yeah. Uses RC3339, which everybody says. It says timestamp right here. I'm kind of concerned because it's not included in the. I wonder if it's the 3 thing. I was not into Protobuf until I realized it can be a huge data structure from one library to another. Yes, you're there. There will be memes. This has been my realization this week. You see me kind of proto curious at the beginning of the week, and by the end of the week, I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing everything in this for that exact reason. So yeah. Timestamp. What is it? We have a timestamp. I'm going to say start date. I'm just going to, I don't even have to say start date. I can just say started, start, start, and timestamp end. And these don't have to be timestamps. but internally there'll be timestamps. But when you put them in JSON, anything that's a legal time will be parsed properly. It's fine. So Google Protobuf timestamp. You can also use Unix time in an Int64. I thought about doing that. I think that's a better timestamp. This, however, is meant to be kind of a date, so it's going to be parsing a date. Normally, like when I put timestamps, I use epoch time every time. It's so much easier. But this is for a resume, so it's already kind of a stretch to make him put the time zone and everything in there. And again, it's going to be going into a YAML file. That's the thing I have to keep using as my guide. I am really attempting to be able to submit my YAML file that gets parsed by this thing as a resume without any conversion to anything else. Unix time will end though. It actually will in like less than 18 years. Is it less than 18 years? Shit. I don't think I knew that. The great epoch apocalypse. Oh my gosh, the end of the world. That will literally be the end of the world. I mean, I lived through the Y2K preparation. Y2K preparation was nothing compared to that. Literally, the entire world will break on that day. That is pretty... That's only 18 years away. That's only 18 years away. Ugh. Seriously, how's it going? WMW. That's pretty damn terrifying. I mean, that is like really terrifying. I gotta work faster. That's only 18 years away. There's no way they're going to make it in time. Nobody's thinking about that. They're not thinking about climate change and stuff. They're not going to be thinking about that. Nobody could give a shit about that. You know how much money that's going to cost? Dude, I was in charge of the web Y2K project in 1999. And I'll tell you right now, it is not cheap. We made it through it, but it took every ounce of our effort for like 2 years, almost a full year at least, year and a half. And everyone keeps saying everything important is already on 64-bit time, but I doubt it. Yeah, I don't want to think about that anymore. That's the thing about being a technologist a long time. A lot of times you understand many opportunities for the world to end. And you're like, how fragile we are as humans. You know, everything important. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the nuclear silos and everything like that, they all run off floppy disk still, and it keeps them safe because it can't be hacked, but you can be damn sure they're on 32-bit systems. I'd say they're pretty important. Yeah. Yep. That's crazy. I don't want to think about that. Assyrian. I mean, if they have times in them. Position, start date, end date. Got that. Summary. Okay, we need summary. Description. A description is different than a summary, I guess. Give an overview of your responsibilities. That's never a summary. What are you talking about? That is, let's see. Software engineers, position, description. Description, social media company. Okay. We're going to put, org. I'm going to say, what, do we even need a description for the org? I guess we kind of do. This include variable lengths. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, floppy disks. Really? Wow. I don't think I want to know that, Peter. I'm not even clicking on that. Do I really want to? I guess I do. I'm sick like that. I finished my Confucius documentary last night, so I've gone through all of them now. It's really, really interesting. You guys should watch it. Add this to the list of things I need to read, but won't probably. I really want to read it. I really do. An organizational description. No, it doesn't matter what they do. You just want to see the company. You want to know what you did for them. Agreed. Thank you very much for that clarification. I do. There's the. You know what? I don't want to put summary. I kind of want to put accomplishments. And this is the way I do resumes, and I don't know if everybody else does, but I make bullet points for each of the places I was working, and I work on those bullet points so that the bullet points can be extracted out, and they can be tagged. And so I'm actually going to alter the schema on this particular point. This is a really important thing. Location, position, and I think for each occupation you have like highlights. That's kind of what I want to call it. And frankly, this is one of those areas that I want to be able to provide tags so that I can eliminate certain highlights from certain jobs, because I want to be able to put all of the really awesome things. I used to call it a brag sheet. A brag sheet is this thing that you maintain over the course of this case. So let me give you this really quick. So a brag sheet is when you just keep a little bit of notes, so that when your boss asks you, I have to justify your raise, and I need an email from you in an hour or in a day, and he says, I need it right away because I have to go justify this raise to my boss, and no boss likes doing that. They want you to tell them why they should get a raise, and then if you turn around and just put your brag sheet, cut and paste it into the email, you're like, not only are you a superhero because you did it faster than he asked or she asked, but now you've got all this stuff available, and you can look at it over time. You can kind of reward yourself for it. So it's a personal technique. I've never heard it documented anywhere else. It's just something I like to do. And then those bullet points of the brag sheet keep getting added to your resume as long as you can filter them out. And it's important that the bullet points be metrics. They be measurable. They can't just be really good learner, or it has to be, I did this at this time and saved this much money. And if you put these things into the brag sheet, when it comes time to write that year-end review, which everybody fucking hates to do, nobody likes to do that, you're done. You just cut and paste from that, put a little summary on the top of it, year-end review is done. And so what you do is during that moment when everybody else doesn't care about your major accomplishment you just finished and they're just happy the deadline is met, you just take a moment, pat yourself on the back, and put a line on the brag sheet. And go for a walk with your wife and tell her about it. Or something like that. And then you have that available. It goes on your resume. It matters to future people who will care, because the people that your coworkers and stuff, they probably won't care. And your wife, honestly, she's not going to care either. She's just not. You love her, but she just doesn't care about your work accomplishments. She just wants you to have a good job. That's not completely true. A new graduate, but my experiences in a specific section, I try to briefly describe in bullet points what I did. Yes. Don't necessarily describe the company itself unless it is an OSS. Yes, agreed. Thanks for your input there, Selective. That would definitely get you points if my point system was up, which I haven't built yet. Thank you for contributing. In case anybody's wondering, I plan on rewarding people who, a gold star, exactly. Give yourself a gold star. And I plan on rewarding people that participate and contribute in my streams, because I want to promote the lab and community idea. It's obviously, we're a lot smarter together than just this guy who's about to do yoga working on his resume. So what do we got here? 1, 2, 3. We're missing. See, this is going to drive me absolutely batshit insane if I don't fix this with some kind of helper app. If I have to, whenever I reorder, this is the same reason that I use 1 dot in Markdown instead of 1, 2, 3, because you can't reorder things without them breaking. Now you should be reordering things once you get your first version of this. You should be adding new ones so for backward compatibility. But the first version, I'm going to be tweaking and moving and everything. And I'm going to make a plugin at some point that goes through Protobuf and when you move something around, it automatically changes the numbers, and you have to like turn it on though, because you would never ever want that on something that was production, because it would only be during the beginning phase of a project. Probably why it doesn't work, it doesn't exist already, because it could really screw up your really serious formal contract about what's going to be in your Protobuf. So website position, location, website. I think that's all good. And I think what we're talking about having here is, by the way, it could be the same organization. I'm going to do something else here that's going to help me with searchability. I'm going to actually call organization an organization. And I know I'm stuttering there, but I don't care. And the reason for that is because I want to be able to search by organization. No, I dropped Alacrity. It didn't quite cut it for me. It's still kind of alpha beta software. Sorry. It's great program. Really good example of how awesome Rust is, but it just had too many bugs. You want to add functionality to VI and editing the source code the only way? No, there's lots of other ways. I use shell scripts, so I actually wrote one. So here's a quick little script that I wrote to basically create the lines. I actually forgot something here. Here we go. So this is what I'm talking about. So like for example, if I were to do this again, if I were to say this, I could say organization. Whoops. This is a good way to learn VI. I'm never gonna get anything done. Organization, location, position, website, right? And then I can do this, and I watch it's hard to see, but so exclamation point, and then right curly bracket, and I'm going to send that to temp foo, actually bash temp foo. If I could, it's not and now I get that. Did you see that? Do it, undo, I can do it again. I'm going to go up, and go bash foo, and I run it. It runs it through the shell script filter and fixes everything. So rather than make a Vim plugin, I first reach for just plain old bash. And that's, by the way, you can't do that in bash. I mean, in Emacs, as far as I know. You have to write a plugin or something like that. Thankfully on Demia. And so that's a thing. You can do all kinds of things with that. So if you want to put a timestamp in here, bang bang, Emacs. I mean, I'm not against Emacs. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hashing on Emacs. I'm just saying some things can't do that. You know what else can't do that? A graphic version of VI or VS Code. VS Code doesn't have a prayer doing any of that stuff. You cannot integrate shell scripts into VI. It doesn't make any sense anyway. So the great power of VI comes with combining it with the shell. And if you're not doing that, you're not using VI properly, if you ask me. So if you have any resources I can learn a bit about how to share, all I found is the forum Vim writing plugins. At times, yeah, I mean, Emacs has its usages. It's for people who are on the same computer all the time. I just don't like it. I think VI is a more modular approach because you combine Tmux, Bash, and Vim, and you have an IDE. And all of the pieces are interdependent. But they're not dependent completely upon each other. Emacs is, the one tool to rule them all. The command is exclamation point to run any shell script. No. So actually, I have a thing written on this. That's going to be hard for me to get through anything today. But if you want to go read about this, by the way, beginner boosts are coming back midnight to 4 a.m. my time, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'm going to go for that. I'm going to put them up on Udemy. I'm not Udemy, Vimeo, and sell them after I edit them. But you can use the other ones forever for free. So these kind of things, I'm eventually going to be putting off these questions. Yes, Eastern time. Yep. And it's only going to be on the weekend. So every other day, I'm going to be working on other stuff. That's going to be more advanced. But the reason I say it's because at some point when I start that, I'm going to be saying, come to my beginner boost and I'll tell you about how to do that. Because I can't, if I answer all the beginners, I'm starting to get beginners back in here again, and I love it. I love it. But if I continue to answer all the questions, like should I use Go or Rust, or should I do this, do you like Emacs? I'll never finish anything. And last time I gave it up was because of that. It was because it became. So I'm not complaining. I'm just informing. Yeah, set-ovi. Yeah, I can't believe people don't know that. That's crazy. Mac is like a professional embedded programmer. He hasn't known it. He's like very, very successful. Did not know that until the stream either. But there's a lot of things I didn't know either. Like if you put backslash in front of ls, it'll run the actual ls command instead of this ls. Notice the difference? There's a small thing I didn't know. I didn't know that for 52 years. I learned that on the stream last year. If you put a slash in front of a command, it will force it to run that command at its actual binary location instead of, $random is awesome. Is it not awesome? I love $random. Set-ovi causes you to so when you play escape, when you do escape, it allows you to navigate your history just like it's like a one-line window in a VI file. Other than that, it's a full-blown VI session. So that means I can type slash to say, where is my last time I used schema? Okay, there it is. I can proceed through the history with N. I can go up in the history with N. And, so I can, it's just VI, you're just only seeing one line of it, and your history becomes a big VI file. And you can actually edit stuff. Redo, that's a redo. This is, people always tell me, you know what, this is the crazy thing about set-ovi is that's something I learned from, other graybeards, we'll call them. And nobody ever talks about it. So actually, this is one of the reasons that on my list here of, by the way, if you want to go see it, so go rwx.gg/boost, and this has the stuff I'm going to be covering. Okay, rwx.gg/boost backslash Emacs is awesome for that kind of thing. I'm not again, this is not me bagging on Emacs. It's just I've come to realize, largely from the stream, that there's many actual really powerful reasons to use Emacs. I've even considered trying it, but I'm just too embroiled into Vim, and I'm not complaining. I love it. So this is it. So rwx.gg/boost is going to be, this stuff is going to be covered. None of it is linked right now. But you had a question that was related to this. That's why I was covering it. And can't remember why I said that. Oh, because this one, it's a ways away. But we're going to go through this. Nobody does. If anybody wants to learn Bash properly, the only way on planet Earth to learn Bash properly is to read the effing man page. RTFM. And the RTFM acronym originally was in relation to Unix man pages. So most people, this is where you find out about set-ovi. It's where you find out about CD path. It's where you find out about backslash escapes. There's a ton of tiny little things in there that it's where you find out about bash completion with -C. There are so many significant important things in there that you do not know about and will not learn about because no book covers it. And the one book it does cover it is the man page. And it's funny because the Graybirds who taught me, they had printed the bash man page and it was on their shelf because it's a trough file, right? You can totally print it out. I'm actually seriously considering doing that. I am going to do that. Why have I not done that already? Oh man. I'm going to do that. You know what I could do? I could actually publish the bash man page and then make it into a PDF and then send it to everybody. Cause it's dense. Yes, it's dense. It's 500 pages, but it's so good. And I'm not going to try to do, so anyway, that's coming. Wouldn't that be great? We should make money by selling the man page to people. I got this really great book on bash. Yeah, I got this really great book. I published this really great book on bash. Yeah, I'm the publisher. Exactly. But that's the thing with Linux. You never know it all, right? So I've been doing this forever. Did not know about slash. Backslash anyway. So yeah, that's a really great thing about Linux though, isn't it? Linux encoding is you never know it all. Basically, that's the really great thing about life, is there's always more to learn. Always more. Always more. It's just exciting. Super exciting. But here, let me show you the difference here again. So ls, color, slash ls, no color. Why? For 10 points, why is that? Why does backslash s not have color and the other one does? Raise your hand. See, you can't raise your hand because I don't have that built into my chat app. I'm going to build that into my chat app. I'm going to build in a raise a hand thing. As I just said though, Briox gets it. He gets it. He's the first person to answer, or because it's no, because it's an alias. So watch. And by the way, the way to know exactly what a thing is, there's two commands, which and type, and they're not the same. Which tells you which file, which binary is being used in the path, and type will tell you exactly what it is. So in this type way, we're going to do ls, right? So that's the problem. But if I type which ls, there it is. So which one of those gets executed when you type ls? How to do that? You can go to my fact, Mark. Yeah, here's my fact. My fact talks about that, about how to do the backgrounds. That's great. So, keeping my hand in the air. Elementino. Oh, okay, yeah. Add -A to your flag. Type -ALS. Ooh. See, now I'm learning something, Sarcini. Sarcini's teaching me stuff. He'd be getting points. Why did I not know about this? Sarcini, you get points. You get points for totally teaching me something I didn't know. In all these years, I just learned there's a -A to my ls, to my type. That is freaking awesome. You get the medal for the day. You're like tip of the day, my friend. I gotta tweet that. Go tweet that, and I'll retweet you. That is so cool. No, it's type -A, which is clearly showing you the first alias, whatever it is. Then it's showing you every single existence of it in every single path. Where has this been all my life? Where has this been all my life? Really? I am so embarrassed that I did not know this. Once again, Unix people, you think you know something. You know what else I didn't learn? RTFM of type. I know. Once again, if I had just done man type. Who does that though? Whoops. Are you making my point that if I had read the bash man page, I'd know how type works? And yet I didn't, and I read it and I missed that part? Because I haven't ever read the full bash man page. I read little pieces of it, just like everybody else. And that means I missed it. That means I missed it all this time. You know how many times I've read type and local and go print it? I'm totally printing it. Yeah. Wait, that's the thing? You can do --help? What? Wait. Stop with this craziness. What? Wait, please tell me. Yeah, echo, okay. I know you want colors. You want colors for your man page, don't you? Man type. See, there is no man type. Type --help. Is type its own command? I know you guys are having fun. It's a man page, but it's not. You know what this is? This is a situation where bash has its internal... Oh my god. I'm just going crazy here. Are you telling me that any of the commands that are in the bash man page have a --help for them? Because I think that's what you're saying. Yeah. Help type. Oh, I don't use that at all, but now I do. How's it go, Max? Help type. On Cube, I don't even know. I have been, but I'm not good at it. We're going to do more of those, by the way. ls --help. One, I mean, I know about man ls, but I don't use, I like my colors. Interesting. So it's using the help system instead of the man page. Huh. Yeah, anyway. Well, I generally, on that kind of thing, I usually search anyway. I know it's inefficient, but sometimes there's some, exactly, that's my point. That's what I was trying to get at. I think what you're saying is something, so I'm so blown away by it. That means Red Team Field Manual. Yes, I have that. That's a really good one. That is got a lot of good stuff in it. Yeah, I've got the Red Team Field Manual site over there. I've had it's basically somebody doing their black book and it's publishing it. That's why you should have like a notes thing, because you're not going to remember everything. But if you write down, if you take a moment to write down the new thing you just learned, you can go back and review it regularly, and then it'll get kind of stuck in your brain. I'm kind of going through that right now with a bunch of extra Vimgo shortcuts and stuff that I didn't know existed. How's it going, Turtle? Rediscovering Bash? Yeah. That's what we were saying, Rod. We were just joking about you can make a ton of money just by republishing the book, the Bash book. What is this book? Why was this book all my life? Yeah, Vimgo is a plugin. Yeah, there's a bunch in that plugin that I didn't know about. Now you got me really sidetracked. But so let me show you. If you know, I mean, you go through the tutorial on the Vimgo plugin before you get too much more into Go programming. If you're going to use Vim for that, make sure you go read them all so you don't waste time and then find them out later after it's like gone away. For many of us, it would be Discovering Bash +1 Rediscovering Bash. I agree. Rediscovering Bash, we literally could just change the title. And it would be totally legal to do that. You just have to say on the inner cover, this is the Bash man page. And they'll say, how did these people get their book on every Linux system? They must have a lot of influence. Oh, we have to do that. That has to be done. That would be so funny. Mr. Artibix Rob becomes a millionaire selling the Bash man page to people. We totally have to do that. I could finance the stream from that. Seriously. We're just playing, but I'm seriously thinking about it. I'm like, okay, here's another man page that you haven't seen yet. You know, buy the Bash man page. You know, put a fancy cover on it. Seriously, and put like a really fancy cover on it. Artibix Publishing. Artibix an abridged version of the Bash man page. Yes, I agree. I'm going to start selling the RFCs. Yes, exactly. Just tweet it. Just tweet one flag at a time. Yeah, just go down through the whole thing. Yeah, that's all. Those are great ideas, Phil. That's a great idea. So yeah, if you're a Go coder, I can take a little break here, and then I'll come back and get more focused again. Oh, we just passed it. 1:11:11. I always think of things when that time comes. It's kind of weird. That's very metaphysical, but whatever. I got to do my yoga and stuff, but I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to come back and finish the resume stuff, and then I'm going to do my yoga, and then I have an interview. So, Pure Bash Bible, that's, it's okay. I've seen it, yeah. I've seen most every resource on Bash these days, because I was trying to find one to go through, to do a walkthrough for, instead of just going through the man page, and I just threw my heads in there, so let's just do the man page. And it's our unroll as a zine. Right, I agree. So anyway, look at these. If you're doing Go Vimgo, you want to look at all these. There's some really cool things in here. Like, for example, diagnostic warnings. The ones that show you the auto type when you're highlighting over it. What else is there? There's lots of cool things. Oh, all these extra highlight options. So if you don't have those, you don't get the great colors. So let me show you. I've been using this sort of anemic, I turned on all my highlights and I got all these extra colors all of a sudden. And I was like, you mean to tell me those syntax highlights have been there the whole time? And they said, yes, they're disabled for performance reasons. So I was like, I got a pretty good GPI. Why would I ever have those off? And so you actually have to go in and turn them on. I don't particularly like this green one, but so stuff like this being highlighted, even these things being highlighted, these being highlighted. All of these extra colors are in the Vim plugin are available, and a lot of people don't know they're even there because they haven't put it on. They haven't turned it on. So like here's the out right here. I really love the initial definition one because a lot of times when you're using a variable, you can't easily see where the thing's created. It's a pretty common visual thing that I need to look up. So there you go. There's their V, and so if it's green, it kind of shows you where it was exported, where it came from, and yeah, no, I like that. So out is right there, and anyway, just a bunch of very useful little things from that. So you might want to look at that. I really love that Protobuf is syntax highlighted automatically. It just shows how late to the party I am. You know, when you're dealing with new stuff, you usually don't get that. A couple of files as favorites. Yes. It's accessible to the terminal. There's lots and lots of ways to do that. Mostly I do everything as a shell script and just cat out to the screen. So another one you can do, so I actually have a PDFs directory, and so I can do PDF tab and use bash completion to show all the PDFs in my PDF directory. Yeah, I like a ton of things that I could just keep going into, and I probably would take me too long. I'll give you a copy of this. There's just, there's just a number of things you can do. That's a program called Eeks. Bash script again, we used to type the duplicate code. I don't know what you're talking about. To type duplicate code. I was going to show you the Vim magic. God, I really am off track here. rdbx.gg, VI magic, and that will get you an explanation of all of this stuff. You can actually to teach you how to run commands from Bash integration. I think that's the one you were looking for, right? I'm going to be cleaning up rdbx.gg a lot more too. How are C jobs at this point in time? I don't know. I haven't been looking at C jobs. I think they're pretty. You know who you should ask is Matt Guyver. He's one of our regulars here, but he only comes during the work day, so you won't find him on the weekend. Usually, he's eating his pork bellies and barbecuing shit. But there's lots of C coding jobs. They're just harder to find. Yeah, usually people that are coding in C are not very vocal about it. Yeah. Rust is the most beloved language by Stack Exchange survey respondents. And yet it gets heralded as the most loved language. But C, on the other hand, is the most beat up language, but it's the most important language on planet Earth. So you go, girl or guy. Learn it, and tell Dennis you're learning C. He'll love that. Last miles. Hi Max. C JavaScript Elixir. There you go. Yeah, those are some fantastic languages. Elixir, Erlanger, those are like really important languages that are being used in the bowels of our phone system and stuff that nobody knows about. C and Go are pretty good, but C just is a special place in my heart. I love C. I just don't. That's why I like Go, because it pairs with C so well. In fact, I made a proposal to the language, and to the Go language to make context.c instead of context. And one of the complaints against it, it's the only one, substantial one if you ask me, is that there's already a C package in Go. It's called package C, and so it's used as a prefix. But in this case, it's not a particular conflict, but it could be, it could obfuscate the code if you're using CGO. But CGO is not a CGO for a lot of things is an anti-pattern, so you should not go starting to use CGO for everything unless you have a really good reason to do so, because it destroys cross-platform compilation, which is one of the greatest advantages of Go above everything else. Good for the web size, dark theme by default, of course. It can't change it. You used to be able to change it, and then I just was no, nobody should look at this. No. If you have to have a white background, there's something wrong with your brain. I'm playing. Just so you know, I say those kind of things. People take me seriously, and then they, come after me. Okay, proto. Time. You know what? I need to take a quick break, and then I'll come back at this. I'm going to get mentally focused. When I come back, I'm going to try to finish out what an occupation is. I think we're pretty much done with occupation. Let me go ahead and finish this one. I do want to have organization be its own thing, though. So let's start that one. Organization. And I don't know that you have to have... I think it's... You know what? This is one of those things where I think it's important for you to keep track of the information. But you may not necessarily print all that information in your resume in your template. But you kind of need that information so you can look it up and call them and contact them and stuff. I actually also think that that's the reason that that other information is kind of important. So we'll come back to that. You want another thread to burn your house down? This is how to get threads to burn your house down. It is really. What's that? What are we talking about? The C thread? Or the other one? Yeah, they'll burn my house down. I'm going to see now, and I want to replace a more basic version of most Unix commands for fun. Yeah, you should. It's a great way to do. I mean, I completely agree. Rewriting stuff that already exists is a fantastic way to learn. You know who else agrees? T.J. Hollowaychek, who made Express and everything, built his own company called Apex Run and Go. The Reddit thread you mentioned last night. Oh boy, yeah. Did you see? I didn't even know it existed. Somebody in here told me it existed. Don't like bright backgrounds in websites. Oh, you're talking about the white background thing? Yeah. If you like white backgrounds, fine. Go for it. Yep. If you like Dakota Rust, go for it. Nobody does. Nobody does today. I don't understand what the preference is for really bright backgrounds. It's very rare, for people to like it. I'm going to put a name on this. This may be one of those things where I just have one field, but the reason I need this is I need to be able to, no, I'm not. I'm going to put address. You know what? You know what? You know what? I'm going to change my mind on something that and nobody panic. Okay, this is not going to destroy the world by having your address in your resume. The reason no, let's say I'll just make this a string. What I'm trying to do though is if people want to provide elements of their address, like their city and state, not all required. I'm trying to think about searching and stuff like that. So, and I do like the W3W thing a lot more than this. In fact, but if we're going to provide it at all, we should probably break it down. All right. So, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. And the reason for that is because if you don't have to fulfill everything from the interface, from the message type, all you can put in there is like country, and if you want, and state, and then if it eventually goes into something that's going to be searched, people can search for those things. Hi, Samba forever. Are you talking about Samba as in the SMB protocol? Is that what your name's about? I was gonna say. Are you talking about Samba the lion? No, that's Simba. Whoops. Yeah. Message address. And we're gonna go ahead and do that. I don't know about this. Occupation, location. What does that even mean? Let's see what that means to them. Oh, Menlo Park. Okay, so that's just a general location. Position website. Okay. The organization itself can have an address, though. Raina is itself. Как вы сделали такой внешний вид документа? How did I make my document look like this? Как вы сделали такой внешний, what's that? Внешний вид? Transparent? Oh, it's transparent look. Внешний вид документа? Ну, это написано в факе. Это, как это сказать? Как фак сказать на русском? По-русски. Знаете? What format would you use to save data that would be used by programs in multiple languages? We're talking, well, IDL, Protobuf. Java. All right, I gotta go. Actually, give me a break. I have to do a bio break, so back in a bit. Sorry. Честно задавай ми вопросы. Google Translate. Okay, I'd never heard of that word before, so I was wondering. Really? I'll go look, Hansky. Sorry. After I get off, I'll go look at that. Sorry if I missed it. I did. There's a chance it got, because I changed email addresses. So let me go check that. My email now is rob@rwx.gg. That's my new email. Yeah. So that might be why. In fact, that reminds me, I need to change it on my SkillStack site. My SkillStack.io site. I'm messy now. I mean, you should never eat breakfast on stream. It's a bad idea. SKILSTAK. Yeah, and that's. Thank you for the reminder. I think I have to change it on there. Obviously, I have to change it on there. I'm a little afraid. I'm a little afraid people are gonna go there and read Robs.io and go, "Who the fuck is this guy?" I just said fuck. I'm sorry, but they're, because I'm very out there. That's not suitable for work. So I made a new email. If they go to rwx.gg, they'll just see a bunch of broken links. That's not nearly as bad. In case anybody's wondering, this stream of mine is somewhat related to my professional career, but it's largely just me. I probably don't have to tell anybody that. All right, almost ready. Here, I'm two-fisting here. I got coffee and protein. Yeah, rob@rwx.gg. That's the new one. Yep, I tested it last night, so that should be working. I don't think I lost any mail in the process. Maybe just that I didn't see it or something. Yeah, thanks. Thank you for doing that. All right. Email is just a thing, right? Everybody's confused. Hansky's referring to, I have 3 open spots on skillstack.io. I do private mentoring. And I've been accepting applications for application interviews. And a lightweight browser probably would be a great idea. I don't do that, no. That's a great idea. So I got toast in my teeth. I was just talking to my wife about how we can deal with the increase in volume on the stream, which is awesome. Thank you for coming. But I'm beginning to have the same problems I've had in the early time when I stream, which is I can't get shit done because a lot of people asking great questions. And what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start referring you guys, y'all, I'm not supposed to say you guys, to the beginner times. And the problem is if you can't come during beginner time, that could be a problem. So, and that's going to be from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. Every day. Your time, my time, which for you guys is whatever time, on the weekends. So other than that, I'm going to be depending pretty heavily on people in the stream to answer those questions so that I don't get distracted. Otherwise, I'm going to end up doing what I did before, which is just like going offline and working hard, getting stuff done. And I don't want to do that again. What time is that? I am Eastern time right here in the corner. So, yeah, I have an interesting time schedule. I'm actually more, I pretty much operate on Australia time right now, which is weird. I didn't plan it that way. It just works out that way. All right. So I really want to make an organization here. The reason I'm going through this extra effort to do the address is so I do want to put a note here. I'm going to actually do this I'm going to make my Protobuf protofile, my commentary and domain information and everything, caveats related to things, so that if I can send somebody just one file for them to understand everything, it's kind of like my database model. It does make me kind of wonder if whether you should do a DDL first or I think honestly, I think I'm going to be doing more things in Protobuf because it does kind of define your domain and the terms, and then you can take that and give it to your developers or your database people. So I'm going to say here, Address often will not contain all the, let's see, when displayed, how about that? Address will not always show everything on a public resume, but does allow specific fields to be used to facilitate searching. So the reason for this is so, like, if you have an organization that you don't mind putting their full resume, their full address there, I think that's probably fine. I do like the W3M, the W3W thing. And I'm going to have to explain that. I think you can put comments in here. So at some point I might do this, or you can write a comment about it. And you can do this and make another comment about it. I'm trying to decide how much commenting to put in something. So yeah, address, and they have addresses already in here, so I'm going to go just steal theirs. We talked about addresses quite a bit last night, about whether they're worth doing or not. And resumes, that's where somebody showed me about W3W. So, what 3 words? You guys should go look at that. It's every 3 meters of the Earth is mapped to 3 specific words, and you can go look it up. It's pretty cool. And so, as a location, you can put the W3W, the what 3 words for your coffee shop in the local area if you don't want to give up your time zone and stuff. But if you don't want to give up your specific address, but you want to be able to have people identify your general location. It's pretty cool. We were like playing around with Statue of Liberty and stuff. Address. All right. So, I don't, you know what? We could almost make this. Well, this is the thing where you need like address 1, address 2. I don't want to get too bogged down into this. Yeah. I just gotta get this done. So. In that street. Another field of address visibility, right? Well, that kind of thing, Graham. Good to see you, by the way. He's the one who told us about what 3W. I'm going to stick with the normal fields in most databases, and I've got a little bit more clarity because I'm full. Suffice it to say, yeah. And I mean, what are the other fields they usually have? Postal code is a thing. I'm not necessarily in this order. Actually, let me just put them all here. Postal code, city. I usually put state, but that doesn't exist, like state or municipality or something like that. Add a custom command. Yeah, I don't do that. I just use exclamation point for that stuff. I don't map anything ever. You just have to do set. You can do it just like set map. Yeah. Programmers believe about addresses. This is a great one. Yeah. This is the kind of thing that we need to do more of. Yep. Yeah. And it's like, because postal codes start with at least include a building number. No. When there's a building number, it's all numeric. No. No buildings are 0. No. No buildings are negative numbers. Funny numbers in there. 4-6. Yes. Why would you put a type on your number? That's so stupid. Counterexample. Oh, building name. There won't be a building number. What? No. No. I don't want you to hear. I feel better about that. Because Unix Power Tools, yeah. Yeah. It's a pretty good book. I had that in like 97. So I think I'm going to start erring on the side of flexibility because we can just search it. We don't have to. There's this broken database engineer or architect mentality in my head that says you have to break everything down. And this article you sent is a good example of that broken mentality. I think data modeling can make you feel like you have to break everything down into its automata. And we live in an age where everything can be searched. I'd say it's this dude's American. The thing on my head. No, this is literally because I got up, I put it on because I was gonna go do yoga, and then I said I gotta finish my resume first, and it's keeping my head warm, so I actually might do it a lot now because actually, you kind of need something on your head to protect you from the earphones because I'm just sensitive. Do I rap now? No, I don't. Look, I don't give a shit what you think. Sorry, obviously. So let's talk. So this is basically the important thing here is to just make a field that's a string that contains whatever somebody considers a location. And if somebody only wants to give up the something comma something in the location, fine. And then when it comes time to searching that field for locations, if you want to say I want to know everything that's in PA, in Pennsylvania or whatever, then you'd have to create a query against that field that looks for more than just a code. And that's fine. That's fine. So it's called hair. I have something on my head. It's called hair. No, I like hair on my head too, but it, yeah. Resume the resume. Hey, Tanawa. So I think that's. I'm not gonna get too specific with that because we can just go ahead and sure. It's so cozy too. So comfy. Now I'm not doing yoga for you guys if you want to know that. I'm not gonna make it in time though. I'm not gonna. God damn it. So much things going on. Isn't that great? Isn't that project great? Rose 5-ish discovery is a string that is rendered as text. Yeah. Hey, how's it going? Rod. Naked yoga. Clementino, bite your tongue. Not happening. There's so many jokes I could make right there. Insert random joke. Organization, location, position. I do think the organization needs to be called out as having a location in the name, which is fine. That's fine. We got a pointer to that. And so now we're back to the rest of the work stuff. So site, we have that. Pardon me. I think I want to put, I think we should probably put website on this. I just feel like it's needed. So, I mean, I don't know. We need a URI. Find me on website. No, site, social site. I'll just put site, I guess. I don't, because presumably there's things that are not web related, but I don't know. Hair. You can. It's really cozy. It's really cozy. It's just like organic cotton. It just feels really good. I don't care what you think. At the end of the day, you can make fun of me all you want. I don't give a shit. I'm too old to care. It just feels when you get to be my age, you just care about comfort. You don't care. I have the most amazing wife, and so she actually likes my bandana. You actually have to have one of these, by the way, when you do yoga, because if you get sweaty like in Ashtanga, it falls into your eyes. You can't see anything. It's crazy. So I look badass. I actually cut this out of a t-shirt. That's what I did. I can show you the pattern someday. You can cut them out of old cotton t-shirts. They make the best ones of all. And then they just keep you. Yeah. Oh God. When you're doing yoga and I guess you're going to grab it and you're like leaning over and you're doing a downward dog, there's nothing worse than having all that sweat go in your eyes. And so you have to have something to catch it. And I'm sorry. It's a practical thing. So yeah, I know it looks like I have a like a white guy do-rag, but I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'm comfy and my ears feel wonderful because I can wear my headphones now and listen to the coffee music, which I can't do without them. Lots of practical reasons. You can't rock a fedora the way Rob does if you have hair. I don't know. You probably could. I mean, there's a lot. I used to have hair too, but. And a thicker material. Yeah, dude, when you I can't put that kind of shit on my head. It just makes me itch. I don't know why we're talking about this, but oh well. I don't see a problem with it. Looks good to me. Yay. SQL that I know. Reading Derby, SQLite 3. I know well. Ooh. Yeah, we were playing with that the other day. All right, so interesting things here. I haven't got to validation, which I don't think I'm going to get to today because I need to fill out the resume. I want to actually fill it out. I have to have this done so I can fill it out, and then I'm going to start filling it out and I got to finish all that like relatively soon. So I got to kind of stick with this. Occupation, organization. We got that. So we're down to the work section again. And we've got. So we have the name, Facebook. See, I hate the names they picked. I am so glad we just threw off their scheme. It's bullshit. It does CG makes you look like a trucker. Yeah, or if I combine it with a hat, then I'm like doing a. Now I'm like doing a. I can't do it, but I could do like a Bruno Mars, where he combines like a do-rag and a hat, a fedora. The dude's amazing. Properties, name for an organization. Yeah, location, got that. Description. We're like, why would you put a description for your organization unless it's for your information? Social media company. Google, not evil company. Position software engineer. Yeah, let's do position software engineer. We got that up here though. That's a part of the occupation. Position isn't, it has a location. So an occupation has a location, it has a position. Actually, the position should go first. And then it has a location and a website, possibly. I don't know why you would have a website for a specific occupation. That doesn't seem to make sense to me. That just does not make sense to me at all. So I'm getting rid of that. There's actually some stuff missing from here though, that I want to add. And in fact, I think that's going to be number 4. We need to add our bullet points, and I really want those to be bulleted out because I want to be able to tag each one so I can eliminate them or hide them or elid them, whatever you want to call it, when I'm making different resume views. And then so let's say you work at, like for example, I worked at IBM and I did lots of things while I was there. I did virtual world stuff, I did coding, I did system administration, and all of that stuff happened while I was at the same company for the same occupation. And so a lot of my brag sheet bullet points would apply to a particular job. So let's say I'm applying for this terminal UI job, and I only want the stuff that's related. I want my highlights to be related to terminal UI, which is what you want to do in a good resume, right? You don't want to flood them with unnecessary, irrelevant stuff on your resume, and that means I need to be able to tag each one of those bragging bullet points with a particular keyword, or I don't want to be able to say all the bullet points that have terminal in them, because I'm not going to generally do that. But I do want to tag all of those bullet points, all of those accomplishments, whatever you want to call them, because if you can tag them, then you can like eliminate them. You can say, okay, I don't want to show anything in this resume that's not related to the terminal UI stuff. And you can actually filter your resume automatically and dynamically. And that's the end goal for me, because particularly when you get, when you've been around for a while and you've got a lot of experience, you don't want to always send a 2-page resume. People say you should at my age, but I would rather not force people to see all that stuff. So that means rather than having description or, something about your occupation, you might have a general description of what you were doing there, but I actually don't even think you need that. I think people want to get right down to the gusto. They don't want to filter through your touchy-feely description of what you did. They want to get right to the stats. What did you do? Why do I give a shit about this entry? Why are you wasting my time reading this fluffy description of what you did? Give me the specific stats of what you did so I can hire you and talk to you about this, so you can prove to me that I can trust you to work for me. That is why I want to have a bulleted list item. And so I think we need to do this stuff. Contact information for the organization would be optional field. That's a great one. So let's do that. Let's do would that just be a string? I guess we should leave that kind of open-ended, right? Contact, and we can, I don't know, I don't even know what that is. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? These numbers thing, I got to fix that. It's driving me crazy with VI. First of all, you should hire me. Yeah, go for that. Hey, Yixery. It says, yeah, Russ had hectic concurrency, but it's great now. Okay. Go routines are bad because they leak. Go routines are, there's many ways a Rust person would yell. It's probably one of Golang's worst things and best things, but they're not bad. They're not bad, not with context. If you add a context to them, which I did last week, they do not leak. Right now, Go routines can leak if you don't deal with them properly. So that's pretty astute observation on his part. But the model for Go routines is way better than async. So way better. Organization website would be good too. You think so? Oh, right. Let's do that. Wait, what do I have here? Portfolio. I'm going to change this. I'm going to make it consistent. I know you guys like portfolio, but I'm going to put website because your website might not be, it might be a portfolio. I know website is specific to specific tech, and some part of me doesn't like that, but what if it's like an Adobe portfolio? It's almost always going to be a website, right? So no, let's put portfolio. I think portfolio is important. Okay, let's stick with what the things are, not their implementation detail. So an organization, I think we should probably have website though. I think you're right on that one. I agree with that. Linking to an org's website serves as a description a lot better than a social media company. Yeah, I agree completely. Organizational work. So what I don't want to forget though is, I got to fix the numbers and everything. This is a mess, but contact, let's say, how to validate work at this organization. So we do need a contact. I think that's important. I wish more people would have put that in when I was doing resume validation for people. Go routines. Yes, definitely. You have to. With Dart, I hate async await. I hate it. Go routines all the way, man. Go routines are the same way of thinking about processes. That's why I love them. Away from us because they were dumb engineers. He said Discord moving away from Rust was because they were dumb engineers. Moving away from Rust? Well, I don't disagree. They were dumb engineers. They basically realized, oh shit. And then they realized that Rust wasn't doing it anyway, so they went back to Erlang, which is the right pick, if you ask me. Erlang was the right pick all along. GitHub uses it a lot, and I think they still use it. They use Elixir, Erlang, I don't know. Someone who knows can say. It just depends on, what your volume is. Discord, I think, would be a natural Erlang company because there's so much route switching and stuff. System engineer student with no professional experience I really don't like. I really don't know what to put in my resume. That's a different question. We'll talk about that as a beginners eventually. Think about personal project. Yes. In fact, let's get to that. I need to put a section for projects because projects is really important to put here. But let me bullet point that. But let me first of all put projects here so you guys know that it's coming. I think putting projects on a resume today is really important because projects show two things. They show what you're working on in your free time and what you're personally passionate about. So, in fact, some people would go so far, there's been jokes about it. There's a really famous TikTok, what's her face? She's really funny. She makes one about comparing a doctor interview to a software engineer interview. And they're like, well, what do you do in your free time? Do you spend all your free time working on open source projects? No. I spend time with my family, and it's contrasting it, what you're expected to do in tech. And one of those things that really gets you the job is they want to see that you're passionate about technology outside of your job constraints. And so there's this like unspoken expectation that you're going to be working on open source projects in your free time. And like it or hate it, that it is a way for you to do learning, because you can't use a college degree to prove your technical acumen on Kubernetes. You have to have stuff that you've done outside of that to prove it. So you're overengineering a resume to show that you've got gRPC. These are sometimes they're kind of more fun, but they show two things about you. And if I was interviewing you, I would want to know more than anything else. I want to know what you do in your free time. And if you say I spend time with my family, I don't do anything technical, it's like, that's cool. It's very commendable. What do you do during your job then? Well, I spend my entire job doing Kubernetes all day or something. But if you ask somebody, what are your projects aside of, you say, well, I was really obsessed with running my own mail server for like a year. Oh, that's cool. What did you learn from that? Well, I learned how to do SendMail, blah, blah, blah. I think asking people about their personal projects, says more about them as a human being, so it makes a better human connection, and it also allows you to see that they are personally passionate about making Go videos or whatever it is. And so it says a lot about why you want to be hired, because these are things that internally you find yourself doing because you like them. If you say, what do you do in your personal time? Well, I just really love Witcher. It's like my favorite game. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with loving games in your free time. But if you can demonstrate in your projects that are on the side, particularly if you're a software developer, that you've contributed to this in this project, or you started this in this side project, saying, well, because legitimately I could say my favorite personal projects are screwing around with my dot files configuration. It's like never ending. I'm always doing it. I'm always messing with my shell code and my Go code. I'm smiling because I love it. I love fucking around with bash code in my dot files. It gives me great pleasure. I would love to do nothing more than to do that and just leave my my music on and just make it a little bit more efficient and do this there. But that says a lot about me to a potential employer. It's like, well, this dude really loves bash and Linux. He does it in his free time. He reads, the Google style guidelines just because he wants to. And so that's why I think the project section is important. In fact, I would suggest it's the most important. Your occupations are just an extension of who you are. And I think this idea that your personal projects and your occupation, well, that's work and this is my personal time, that separation still exists for sure. But in our world now, we're starting to see the bringing together of those things. And so that's not always true, but I think it's more true than it ever has been before. Hey, Master Lich. I like to read us. Short title, technologies used, descriptions, achievements. Yeah, let's, you're back to helping me here. Let me see if I can catch all these. So projects, let's do short title. Okay, string title. I do think title is the right thing. That was one. We should have string technologies used. We're going to get back to that. I want to say, we need to have a conversation about that. Put a thumbtack in that. I really want to talk about that. I think I want to bring the whole tags question into things too. Technologies used, description, title. I think summary is probably the right thing. And achievements. So this is yeah. I think you're right. I think we need achievements or accomplishments. Usually with the thumbtack. My resume on GitHub. Nice. Depends on the cover letter thing. Yes. I graduated from high school and started university. I'm thinking. I mainly sleep with my wife in my free time. Well, that's a cover letter thing. There's okay. So the thing about projects. I don't know. Look, let's come back to it. I'm going to put it to do. We have more to do there. There's a lot more to do there. I got to finish this other stuff first. So, and I think if we finish up occupation, we're going to get there. So, the numbers are all messed up. Don't worry, I'm going to fix those. And, so you have occupation, and it's almost like you could have an occupation for a project versus a project that you're working on. So they're kind of the same. And what do you guys put info about technologies you worked on that are unrelated to the position? That's what we've been talking about. We're going to come back to that, but I believe it should go in your overall resume. That's why I'm doing this. So just so everybody knows, I'm just going to recap really quick. I'm copying everything from my LinkedIn out into a resume, a YAML resume that can be converted into a JSON resume and to a gRPC Protobuf resume just for fun, because I'm using this to define all the fields. It's kind of an experiment and everything. And the reason for this is because I want all of my data in one place. I want my own personal resume database. I want to be able to put every accomplishment I've ever had on every topic. I'm going to put all the stuff about me being a Russian cruise director and all of that amazing stuff, even my newspaper route, for God's sake. I'm going to put it all in there. and then I'm going to make it so that I can filter out stuff based on the application. So your question, Rod, about saying whether you should put unrelated technologies in there, is yes, you should, but then you should take that info, because if you don't, this is the problem for us as resume submitters. We are not easily categorized into one particular Russian spy, into one particular job, right? We have multiple skills and talents, and very, very few occupations leverage that. In fact, I used to joke all the time, if I could be paid for all the skills I have, if they could put a dollar value on everything that they're hiring, but there never are. They're hiring you for a specific set of skills. No reference intended to Liam Neeson, but if if you are, so the dilemma for us as job hunters is that we don't have the ability to cater our experience to a particular position. And every resume builder will tell you, every consultant will say, you need to make a resume for a specific job. And that's fucking exhausting, because you've got to come up with the different ones you're cutting and pasting. Does this really go? Does this doesn't? And I want to facilitate that whole thing. And because I have to do this resume submission, of course, I'm jumping full on into it like I do anything. And I'm trying to create a system where we can do that pretty easily. And then you can say, okay, if you tag a particular occupation as having Go in it, then you can say, okay, I want to list this occupation. Otherwise, I don't even want to list it. And if there's a gap, we'll say, well, let's say this, there's basically what I want to do, if you know about database design, is I want to be able to change the view of the data depending on criteria that I want to set for a particular position. And I want to be able to take the exact same YAML resume and apply for a cruise director position in my retirement age that I would use to apply for a terminal UI application developer at IBM. But I want the data to come from the same place. Does that make sense? So I want one file that I have to manage that I can deal with. And unfortunately, LinkedIn isn't it. I've been approaching LinkedIn to use this for a long time. More granularity, so you can list and not list things you put in your portfolio. Well, this is the difference between portfolio and projects. So we're we'll come back to that. Cover letter can say what you did that's relevant to the specific job. Yes, I mean the cover letter should definitely punch your largest accomplishments at a given job for a specific opportunity. I completely agree with that, but I also believe that now you don't want to show gaps, for example. So in your so let's say, for example, you were a cruise director in the middle there, and you did technical work for the 5 years previous and the 5 years after that. So in my resume, what I would do if I were cutting and pasting into a Word doc like we used to do, is I would say, okay, I'm going to list the time frame for this particular position so they don't see a gap in my resume, which is like the kiss of death, by the way. People will throw out your resumes right away because if you can't explain the gaps, you have to be so in order to kind of fend off that kind of pre-filtering, I would say I was a cruise director from this time, and I wouldn't list any details about it. I would just say this is what it was. I would have the details. I would have a bunch of really amazing brag sheet kind of things in that section, but they would be filtered out, and I wouldn't put them in my final resume for a technical application. So then when I go to apply to like a tour company job, or if I'm applying for an intelligence position with whatever government or dark I can punch the other experience I have and put that all in there, and then kind of not have gaps in the other stuff. So these are all based on the user story of being me trying to get a job, or you trying to get a job, and getting dealing with that really troublesome resume question. Portfolio needs to be more granular. I do think that portfolio is I think this main thing is what you want to link to that says the most about you. So more info. It's like the more info link. And I don't know if portfolio is it. I think it's probably more info. Like, where do you get more info about me? Like, if you want to dig into my resume, a lot of people would say go to your LinkedIn. I don't agree anymore. I think that the more info should be your personal, a link to a description of everything that you are. Like, you put website, we've got portfolio in there now. And I think you might be right. I think projects and portfolio should go down here. Let's consider portfolio integration, and then we can look at that. But up here we have. I really don't think we should have portfolio here. I think we should have site, or we should have more info, or something. You know, where do you go to learn more about me besides my resume? Yeah, I almost don't like, because for some people it's not going to be a URL. For some people it might be a blog. Some people it might be a GitLab resource, right? Like if it was my wife, who's an artist, it would be her artist website. I think we should just do site, tell you the truth. Yeah, or link. How about link? More, it is more info. There are all URLs in the end. They are, and I almost don't want to put the type in there. You know what I mean? It's like I want to put what the thing is being linked to, and portfolio was pretty good, but it's really like more info about like more, or see also, that kind of thing. Like what would it be? A portfolio is the closest. Print version resume. Yes, absolutely. God, yes, that's super cool. Yeah, you could definitely make a QR code out of something. Yeah. Print version resume so they can check your projects. Yes, totally. I think that's a great idea. What if we made portfolio a data structure that had summary, link, and array of projects? I agree with that. I think that's a great idea. But there still needs to be something here. So let's, I think, okay, the other thing about projects is that some people consider, this is very Socratic, but some people consider projects to include open source projects, and their role in that project, the larger project, is more like an occupation. And I think that those need to be, you know, there's like a thing for volunteer service too. And I don't know how to do that. So let's see, want to know more? Find me on, right? I kind of like want to know more. I like that. No more. Why not? I love it. Why not want to know more? So this is where you go if you want to know more about me, right? So if you want to go to RWXRob, you go to rwxrob.live or something. Next to incredibly personal websites. Oh shit! Is he talking about me on there? Please say no. Learn more. Oh, that's better. Yeah. Learn more. That's perfect. That's perfect, Brian. That's a really good one. Learn more. I love it. I love it. Find me on. Learn more about me. This is good stuff. Could we do more about? How about that? Let's do that. More about. Learn more about. My points. Thank you. I gotta fix my point system. I'm gonna get it. More about me. More about me. Equals 5. It's a URL. Link to portfolio, etc. Find me on. I like this kind of folksy like naming. I'm a big fan of that. Address. We're not going to have address after all. We decided not to do that. So I think this should be location. I like location as an open string because you can put whatever you want in there. If you don't want to give up your address, don't. You know, if you do, fine. And yeah. I think summary is probably better here. Quick subtitle, summary. Short. Actually, no. About is a longer description, right? Longer description. Email is an email. Location. I like location because it's just wide open, you know. As vague as your city, right? You could even put a W3W in there. In fact, I kind of want to do that. Let's do that. Let's get rid of that as a specific thing. And I mean, I think since location is so wide open, we could make a convention that if somebody puts triple slashes in it, that you can know it's a W3W. Wouldn't that be cool? And then we can just let that field be open. And if people want to put a W3W in there, they can. You know, so they could be W3W. Does that make sense? So then, I mean, you know, that's like less precise. So summary subtitle is basically your title. Not always though, because if you look at LinkedIn's title summary, it says what you're interested in, seeking blah 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 blah, right? And that would be more in the about. So there's a little bit of a yeah, I don't know. That it is basically your title. It is, and about is a longer description. Longer description, short title summary, I guess, right? Should need to know more than your city during application. Completely agree. Or your W3W. They can know generally where you are, right? I would love to submit that. You could even make it a link. You could make it a link to the W3W. It's like, well, where are you located? I put your seeking stuff in about me. LinkedIn dumb. I'd put your seeking stuff in about. I would too, probably. BizDad. Hey, Rob. Saw your YouTube videos a few days back. You're still doing the resume. Hello from the Philippines. I am still doing my resume, but I'm having fun. You need a personal interest. Yes. I do think that. I think you should have personal interest. People frequently keep their personal interest off there, and I think it's a huge mistake. Because when I'm hiring you, I want to know about you. I want to know what makes you drive. What you know, and some people would say it's illegal to ask, well, what are your personal interests? Well, my personal interests are Pentecostal, you know, things, or, you know, raving or whatever. You know, it's like some of those things are not their business. But you know, when do you want to see mine still in progress? Not plugged. Would you add it if you have a blog or Twitter account, Taylor? Yeah, absolutely. I totally would. You kidding me? Definitely. That's really important. That's part of your volunteerism. It's like, what are you giving back? If you're a live streamer, I think you should put that on there for sure. Here are the reading applications better. Again, the goal for employment is to create trust. Anything you can do to create trust with your potential employer is going to get you further toward your goal of getting hired. You get hired not because you're cheap or because you have the skills. You get hired because they trust you to produce for them, whatever that means. And that's why so many people get hired who don't actually have all the skills on the list. They talk to them, and they've created that trust. They've created a situation where the person says, no, I trust them to figure this out. And, you know, like, for example, me, I'm not the Kubernetes expert right now. But if they look at my history and they know I can code, and Google does this too in their hiring practices, they just want to know that you can code. They don't want to know, can you specifically code in Python? Unless they have a data set that or, you know, whatever, something that they have to support that is Python. It's very rare. What they're usually hiring is they're hiring somebody that they can trust to get the job done. End of story. And so they're looking for the things that are going to prove to them that you can be trusted to figure the problem out, to learn it fast enough, or that you already have enough skills in the area that you can fill in your gaps if you have them. So this is a thing that people, I think, do all the time. There's two problems. People will like spam their resume to everybody that has no business applying to it without customizing the resume for the position. It's the stupidest fucking thing ever because it's bad for everybody. When you do that, you cause a situation where the hiring managers have to constantly filter out this shit. And so they have to build processes to keep you away from their system. and they have to counter to your lowest common denominator. So the rest of us who actually cater our resumes to a specific job position and take the time to think about the company and research the company, we have to pay for your shit because you are spamming everything out to everybody and you're causing undue stress on all these people. And so they have to be more selective in their process. If everybody put the amount of time that I'm trying to do here into applying for a specific job, learning about that company and tailoring a resume for that company, we would have a lot less problems. There would be a lot less waste in the system, and there wouldn't be all these systems in place to filter you out. So, conclude about your personality based on your interest. Yes. If you're a good fit, that would be a culture fit, right? And some of that culture fit stuff's illegal, but it's real. They're still gonna find that out about you. In fact, my worst fear in being hired is me being thrown out because I'm a bad culture fit. It's another way to have ageism. Yeah, that's a problem actually. I haven't experienced it. I have read about it. A lot of times, ageism will be covered under culture fit. It's like, well, you're a boomer. You're obviously not going to fit with our young culture, and that's fucking ageism. Just call it what it is. And Facebook is famous for that, by the way. That's one of the reasons I didn't consider it at all. I actually interviewed over there, and there's just no way I would ever go there. Google's actually pretty good at not being ageist. Somebody was mentioning that the other day, and we have had Google engineers here, and so. Apple is horrible. Apple is horrible. If you're not sexy, young, and smart, forget it. And I hope they die because of it. As companies, because that's not how the world works. You know what really pisses me off about that, being my age, is because these companies like talk about inclusion and all this shit, but they still have they have massive bigotry. Yeah, well, whatever. They do. They have massive bigotry within their organizations and in their hiring processes, and they just don't admit it. And so, yeah, forget me working ever for one of those companies, right? Don't want to anyway. You couldn't pay me enough to work for Apple. Oh my God, it's such a disastrously bad company. So many bad mistakes. It was such a laughable, funny thing when they tried to do this. They tried to do that teleconference about their M1 announcement. I mean, the M1 is an accomplishment. The engineers have done a great job on that. Say, forget the CV. They do. A lot of them say that now. A lot of them say, just send me your LinkedIn. And there are a lot that are about that. They want to see. I mean, it's more of a thing. So, which is why I'm kind of trying to have fun with this, right? There are companies that still require it. It's kind of an old thing. But most of the time, they just want to prove that you to prove that you can be trusted. Someone just hire you because you're smart according to their definition, whatever that is. Usually that means you can pass a whiteboard interview, which is just stupid. Projects. Okay, so I think we got them all. What do we got here? We have resume, name, summary, about, email, image, and URL to an image, minimum age, and love boomers, and they have no max age. They have a minimum age? Really? No max age? That's great. What's the minimum age, by the way? 18? Yeah. A bunch of vague numberless graphs and turn out my favorite part was this big, massive, empty building that nobody wanted, that they built anyway. Nobody wanted that building. The people in the building didn't want to be in the building. They complained about it, but they made it anyway. Just a massive idol to hubris, that big fucking annoying building that they made. So, and back. Good keyboard, finally resurrected. 25, really? I would not have guessed that. The day I learned you have to be 25 to apply for the Senate, for the House. So they actually want you to be older before you can apply. That's super interesting. I did not know that. experienced colleagues that guide them, so I'm not falling to the hype and the technology trap. Well, Mila, we'll try as hard as we can to help you. There's other people that are far more qualified in any particular industry than me here. This is more about a community than me. I believe that. I'm not trying to just shill that. I really believe that. Apple's campus in that building was already like $1 billion budget. Yep. I know they just, and they think they got unlimited funds because they think they're a $1 trillion company until all that money just evaporates. They lost half their value. They lost the entire value of several smaller companies in 1 year after they got touted as the most highest value $1 trillion value company ever. It's a disastrously bad company, and they're going to die. They're going to die. Sorry, everybody who likes Apple. That company's on its way out. It's doing so many things that are going to cause it to be dead within, I would say, 5 to 10 years. Hi, Matt Fisher. Coding is awesome. A link about what? Which thing? Them dying? Or nobody wanting anything? I've got links all over the place on my notes. I'm not going to go find them right now. It's a little city, so pretty bad, yeah. I don't think they're going anywhere. They're going to die. Yeah, they will. They'll die. Yeah, you can already tell because they're not doing any innovation. The M1 is a pretty amazing thing, but there's no new consumer based stuff going on. The faux pas they've been making lately, plus they're putting all their eggs in one basket. It's actually really good to see that they're investing into their hardware again. For a long time they were making all their money off iPhone. I love Apple products. I have an iPad. It doesn't mean the company's going to do well. I have an iPad and I love it, but I don't use it. The business graduate girl said, "Your resume looks really bare. I hate full page resumes that fill up the entire page." Me too. Did you just have some white space off to the left? Yeah, this is the hardest thing. Everybody is an expert when it comes to resumes. And resumes are very personal things. And there's people you can pay $70 an hour to tell you how to do your resume. It doesn't mean that somebody's going to like it. It's a very personal thing. So they're heavily entrenched in society. I do believe that. I do believe that. Look, I'd say there's like a 50-50 chance they're going to go down. I maybe a 60-40 chance. Because they're making stupid business decisions over and over and over again. Yeah, they're overcharging for stuff. Linux is going to come. They completely lost their developer community. Completely, they completely wrote off the gaming community. Completely, they were going to do the gaming community, and they wrote them off. They were like all about that. Remember the conference where they came out and said, "Hey, we're about games now," to try to get that gaming stuff, and they actually had like Bethesda or somebody talk. They didn't even mention it this time. They're like, "Oopsie." Actually, we don't care about gamers. Because we can't touch that market, so forget about it. They're just, what company is going to dominate? NVIDIA. NVIDIA is going to own everybody. And you keep forgetting, NVIDIA now owns the rights to ARM. If NVIDIA wanted to say to Apple, you can't use ARM anymore, they could. They have all the power. NVIDIA's got all the power, if you ask me. And so they're slowly going to stranglehold and squeeze Apple down. And it's all going to be about gaming and Linux. And Mac doesn't have a place there. When people have been lifelong designers abandoned Mac because they're like, it doesn't make sense to have a Mac anymore. The people who will still use Macs will be the stupid 1%ers who like to pay money for no reason at all and wear an Apple Watch that's got gold on it. And there will still be, so the company will still be there. It just won't be relevant anymore. People already laugh at Apple ads now. It's like, how stupid can you prove yourself to be? When somebody, it used to be a sign of a badge of honor to bring an iMac or a PowerBook to a convention or something. Not anymore. If you're using a Mac these days with all the good Linux options that are out, and you bring those to a developer conference, people laugh at you. I do, and I know other people who do, and they're like, Oh, you're a Mac person. Okay. I mean, I understand why people use Mac, and Rob Pike uses a Mac, and I have a Mac and I used it for many years and I loved it. It's not the tool, right? You're going to judge the people by the tool, but when the thing is double the cost of something that is twice the power, you're dumb for buying it. It's just no other way to say it. You're just being dumb because you can even make the interface even better with Pop! OS in particular than Apple. Yeah. For a monitor ARM by Apple, right? That's my opinion. Sorry you got it. I cannot shut up tonight. You know what? It's just who I am. Just stop beating yourself up, Rob. It's just who you are. Just accept it and move on. I'm trying to be yogic about it. It's the yoga do-rag. It's making me think about yoga. Where's Callie? Callie, come here. We can do this. All right. So, good side conversations. Well, that was hyperbole, Raritan. I'm sorry. I apologize. My stepson hates it. He's got Asperger's. When I use hyperbole, he's like, that is not at all accurate. And he's absolutely right. Hyperbole like makes him go into a logical loop. His brain fries because he hates it so much. I have to be really careful to speak very precisely with him. With M1 Max, yeah. M1 is pretty competitive. I agree. The M1 has made him a lot more competitive. That's why I invested everything in Apple. You got to understand, I bought 70 grand worth of Macs. I'm still regretting it. So I did my, sacrifice to the temple of Apple. I fucking hated I did it. I wish I could take it back. Yep, from my school. Because I started a school, I had all Macs. If I had gone Linux, I could have done the same thing for 10 grand, 10 or 11 grand. Mm-hmm. And then I went to a 1-on-3 model, a 1-on-6 model, 1-on-3 model, and now a 1-on-1 with COVID. So I got all this leftover hardware. And you want to know what they did? The year after I bought, how many? I bought 16, Thunderbolt monitors. Guess what they did? 16 Thunderbolt monitors, $16,000 for those Thunderbolt monitors that weren't even 4K. And within the next year, they said, we don't use those anymore. And the value dropped to $200 a piece. $200 a piece. That's what I lost. Just on that one decision, because Apple decided they were going to upgrade or do some shit. They said they weren't going to do monitors, and they decided to do monitors later. You know who picked up the slack? Dell. Dell said, oh, you're not going to support Thunderbolt monitors anymore, even though you sold tons of these things at $1,000 a pop to all these schools. Now they got all this surplus hardware. You're not going to support that anymore. So Dell comes out and they said, you know what? We'll support it. So if you flip one switch on the BIOS inside of Dell, you can actually support a Thunderbolt monitor from your Dell PC. And I was like, oh God, thank God. And because I was able to save a couple of them. But I had to sell, I had to sell 7 of my monitors for $200 a pop. That means I lost $800 on each one of them. Each one of them. I just can't even talk about it anymore. I lost so much money on that Mac purchase, and I cannot tell you how much I hate that company, because they do not give a shit about you. They want to resell and they want to sell up. They do the Nike thing of perpetual, eventual obsolescence, planned obsolescence. They deliberately force your hand. They've been caught downgrading performance on iPhones so they can sell you another iPhone. They're a fucking evil company, the evilest of all, because they have no problem taking your money and taking organizations' money and filling up the landfills with their shit with new stuff when the other stuff worked fine, because it's trendy. I hate that company. I hate it, and those values, by the way. Those planned obsolescence values that are being exhibited by Apple in droves are not popular anymore. And the upcoming generation, even the millennials, they're done with it. They're totally done with it. The same generation that's saying, I'm not buying a fucking diamond to prove that I love this person. That was an entire ad campaign that got people buying diamonds in the first place. They're done with it. They're done playing that game. And they're even the real Apple aficionados are catching up, and they're saying, no, I don't want any part of that economy. I don't want any part of this planned obsolescence, not to mention the fact that you're spying on me. You don't tell anybody that you stole BSD straight up, and you're breaking the law every time you release an OS that doesn't tell anybody that. No, never mind all of that. Never mind all of that. Let's just take the one thing where you practice planned obsolescence and you are I saw this because I saw them doing deployments of Macs. Apple had to start giving people screens for free in the one-to-one deployment for MacBook Airs, where they get in this school that I was helping, because the screens were breaking so much and they didn't want to lose face, and so they started giving them screens for free instead of having them have to buy them. If that school had to buy all those screens, There's no way they could have done that one-to-one deployment, but it was too important marketing-wise for that thing to go down successfully. It's just a devil company. And they might make good products and everything, but the way their practices at Apple are, and the hubris and their lack of concern for anything but their bottom line and their stock price is going to tank that company, I swear to God, because the generation that's coming up ain't going to stand for it. They don't give a shit about the fancy colors and the dancing around with your iPod and all that stuff. They're not going to care about that because the generation that's coming up wants to survive. They're like, I want to live through things. I want the world to be around tomorrow. I want my budget to be fine. I'm not going to buy a shitty laptop from Apple just because it's the trendy thing to do. The generations that are coming up are tired of that. They're done with it. And I'm glad. I'm really glad because they fucked me. They fucked me. I am like in serious debt forever now because I decided to go for Mac because I bowed down to the temple of Apple because PayPal CTOs and this Bank of America CIO here, one of them even said, I'm not going to go anywhere that they're not using Mac. And so I sucked it up and I bought the money for Mac, and I should never have done that. Worst regret in my whole entire professional career. Worst regret. I let somebody pressure me into not doing what I knew I should do, which was to be, the Linux guy that I started my whole business on Linux. But one guy, I gave him a laptop loaner, an Acer machine with Linux on it. And this really rich orthodontist, I think, he had his son give me it back and bought him a $3,000 computer and said, no, you're going to use this instead. And it's this level of like oligarchic, I've got to have a 1% Mac thing that we're just fucking tired of. Apple has come to represent the worst parts of our society. And I love that that's happening. I cannot tell you how happy that is. They're becoming associated with the company that makes a fucking gold watch. Because why? Who's going to buy that? The people that are going to buy that are the same sort of people that are destroying society right now. And we're done with it. We're done with you. We're done with your company. And we're done with that part of society. It's time for us to live in equality and to economically find a way to get along. And Apple, you represent the worst of us. Goodbye. AMD is sold out. Build your own machine. Yeah. So, but Apple will have to adapt or survive for sure. You watch. They're going to get all woke all of a sudden. They're going to monetize being woke. A Dave Ramsey rant on finance. Probably pretty close. The PayPal mafia. Don't start me on that one. Yeah. Yeah, don't forget to implement suits. Yeah, they're factory, dude. Hi, Mac. Yeah, good to see you, man. So time for me to calm down again. I'm gonna have to quit at 3:30 or so anyway, no matter what, because I got to do yoga before stuff. I will be back tonight. Tonight I'll be back on. I don't know what I'll do. I need to start doing beginner stuff. The Mac guy. Yeah, this is C-Mac guy. Yeah, Mac, I was talking about you before. You need to talk to Blue about stuff. I will never ever get a Samsung phone. Yeah. So CC debit, including Apple cards. Yep. So do projects. I feel blue tonight. Hacker rank and leak code. I think they're cool, actually. Ask Raritan about that, Yixri. Raritan's really good at that stuff. He's probably our best. I think Raritan in our community is probably because he's spent so much time on it. I don't know, man. I don't spend any time over there. But they're asking about it, and I know that you're the guy who does that. Yeah. If you're going to buy a used Apple, that's the way to do it. Just get the depreciation down. And there's still people who like them. Look, and they make great products. They have the best user interface of any computer ever made. But, and at one point they actually cared about users and stuff. I just don't think they do anymore. That's bullshit. Bullshit. Yeah, you know what? I don't care how carbon neutral they are if they force you to buy a new one every year and they don't replace the batteries and they let them go out. They can say they're carbon neutral and all that stuff all they want. As soon as as long as they're practicing a planned obsolescence business model, that doesn't make that does not, nobody gives a shit. If you're going to force me to throw away my iPhone every 2 years, what's the point of being carbon neutral? I just put arsenic and all kinds of shit back into the landfill. That's way worse than some carbon emissions for a year. So, you know, I don't buy it. It's just a marketing stunt. If they really cared about the environment, they would do things like what Patagonia does, where they'll buy back their product. Patagonia has spent millions of dollars on warehouses full of returned product until they can figure out what the most eco-friendly thing is to do with it. They will. You can send your product to them, and you can pay a reasonable amount, and they will repair your Patagonia stuff and send it back to you. There's a company that actually gives a shit about what they're doing. Apple will never do that. When does Apple buy back their product? Do they? If that's true, then that's a good sign. I hope that's true. Ixery. I really hope that's true. I don't have any information on that, but the best out of Finks might be true too. It might be true too. It's a great trade-in program, but I don't know what it would be like when you get a trade-in. They call it trade-in. Well, yeah. I mean, Patagonia's got flaws too, but they're at least trying. Yeah. Cares about things other than money. Well, you know what? The reason they care about things called money is because as a C corporation, they're legally obligated to seek the profit of the investors. That is the obligation of an S corp. I mean, of an S corp and a C corp. An S corp and a C corp by law, the Penguins. Hi, Jenny. They're mandated to seek profit, and that's actually why B corporations are interesting. B corporations there's benefit corporations. The bylaws of a B corporation are that your primary directive is to fulfill the mission as stated by the benefit this corporation is going to provide, as opposed, and it's not a nonprofit, as opposed to C corporations and S corporations, which are legally bound by the bylaws to produce profit, which means they have to do that. So the very nature of the organization, the corporations are shareholders are parasites, anti-capitalism, and I'm here for it. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I won't stop talking, and then people will put me in the Marxist category, and they don't even know what Marxism is, and blah blah blah. And go watch the documentaries on these things. There's some pretty good ones. More stable device just by getting a new Mac Mini. Yes, that Mac Mini looks really great. I won't lie. Am I a socialist? I don't really have a label. There's really nothing that fits what I believe. I think it's more important that people focus on issues and like what I believe. Do I believe everybody should have healthcare and be able to be in a society and not have to worry about going to the hospital for free? Yes. I believe that. I don't know what that makes me, but I do believe that. Do I believe that when people die, that they shouldn't be able to pass on their massive amount of wealth to their family? I do, and that's a very radical belief. That puts me in a category that gets me unpopular with lots of people. I think the problem that we have right now is generational wealth. Generational wealth is the thing that's really hurting our whole society. And there ain't no way we're changing that. We'd have to start an entirely new nation in order to do that properly. The reason is, and one guy says, like, and if I was to run for office, everybody would turn this around and say, you want to take everybody's money away and redistribute it. I'd say, kind of, yeah, I do. But I'm not communist. And people don't even know what communism is, by the way. But I'm not communist. But I don't think that everybody should be even. What I think is that we need to put checks and balances in our economy that keep wealth from getting rampantly out of control. That's what's causing the problem, is that every generation, the generations overwhelmingly, I mean, if you look at the at the Paris Hiltons and the Trumps and the people who are that come from generational wealth, they're not providing any value to society at all. Nothing. They're not doing anything. They're just celebrating and entertaining and having big parties. They are not providing any value, and humanity has had to deal with this issue over and over and over and over again. We've had to deal with this issue of these upper elite that are living off whatever, and they just have generational wealth. They don't even have to think about what they're going to do when they wake up. And that completely annihilates the middle class that makes humanity progress. I'm not saying that there can't be leaders or whatever the governmental systems are, and I'm not saying that we need to chop heads off anybody, but we have to stop this out of control wealth. And it doesn't mean we take it away all of a sudden, but it just means we certainly don't make them tax free. Bezos didn't pay a dime in tax. Think about that for a second. Bezos didn't pay a dime in tax. I paid 25% of my income in taxes last year, and Bezos didn't pay a dime. And he says it himself. Amazon profits went through the roof because they didn't pay any taxes at all. You guys know that the Monopoly game has been controlled. That's not the original game. That's a real fun rabbit hole. The Monopoly game was stolen by a capitalist from a woman who made the game as an education about the dangers of monopolies and out of control capitalism. There's two ways to play that game. You could play it as a monopoly person, or you could play it as a place where you share all the wealth. And the person who got a hold of the game, not only did he not give this woman credit for it, go watch Adam Ruins Everything. There's a whole thing about this. Monopoly. So the monopoly that we know was literally a product of capitalism out of control. A man took this woman's fantastic game that showed the dangers of capitalism, that had a monopoly and another way you could play so that the whole community benefited. So as a way of illustrating the difference between the two ways of living, this person saw it at a party, this man, he took it, he stole the monopoly part of it, he claimed it as his own, and then he made a ton of money off of it. Nobody even knows the story of where it came from. It's insane. It is a perfect example of out of control capitalism. It's somebody who doesn't give a shit about anything else, about what if I do, what if everybody did it. And he just rapes this woman and takes her idea, gets rid of everything about the idea that was good, to show that, and makes a ton of money off of it. And we complain about it to this day. Meanwhile, she's forgotten. Nobody even knows she existed. Yay, America. Yeah, he was paid by Parker Brothers. Yeah. It wasn't the inventor of Monopoly, by the way. Nope. That was not the inventor of Monopoly. He claimed to be the inventor of Monopoly, but it came out later that he never even made it. He stole the idea. Lizzie? Is that how it went? Maybe I got it wrong, Jenny. That's how I remember the story. If I got it wrong, please correct me. I'm living for Comrade Rob. Look, don't call me that. I'm not Tavarish Rob, but there's just, it's really easy. It's going to be, look, I learned Russian and everything, blah, blah, blah. It does have some problems. I won't lie. There's a few things that have problems in it. But they're open about their problems. I don't agree with that, but that's okay. His mother is one of the best educators that's ever lived, as far as I'm concerned. And he has been focused on entertainment and education for a long time. There are some problems in it, no doubt. First of all, but at least it does provide sources you can go look up. So put that out there. Yeah, like the Myers-Briggs test. Got to go study. Okay. Let's do this. Wait, we do the projects thing. Should we do? No. Is Brian still here? Yep. Okay. Brian, what are we gonna do here? So we got projects. And then we went to the bullet point thing. So let's go back to the bullet point thing. So for any given occupation, you should have your kind of brag sheet bullet point thingy, and I don't know what to call that. It's a repeated It gets a lot of correct. Yeah, they have, but you know, just like anything, the really great thing about Adam Ruins Everything is they'll be the first ones to tell you they get things wrong and that you should go research things. Achievements, yes. Achievements. Achievements equals 7. Okay, so I like this. I think achievements is the way, because that's, yeah. In technologies, we got a thumbtack in. All right, so the reason I don't like the word technologies and I want to use a word like tags or something is because, or skills, is because it's not just necessarily technology related. So if my wife, the artist, was going to do this and she wanted to filter out stuff, I could see her having a tag for ceramics and then having another tag for, you know, painting. Skills, yeah. Repeated. Did I write that? Oh my God. All right, let's make an achievement one though. So message, achievement. What is an achievement? Well, I like skills, but I also think that we're going to need to have tags in there at some point. You know, is pottery a skill? I don't know. I do like skills though. Is Golang a skill? Is Golang concurrency a skill? I think you're right. I think skills. You know, it's funny because I registered skills.dev, skilz.dev. I have that sitting around. Yeah, I have skills.dev sitting around, and I'm actually going to think about making that the place for people to go look for skills, and then they could search through all the resumes that are submitted. We could have tags and skills. I think you're probably right. I think you're right. Let's do that. So repeated skills. I can't do it. I want to, but no, can't do it. Let's do that. Skills is 8. Skill, we're not going to get crazy with the skill. I do think, oh, you know what? On skills, I think we should have a relative value, like a bar graph, like between on a scale of 1 to 10. I got skills.dev. Yeah. You know, I should give that to you if you want it. I should like give you a forwarding mail. Achievement. So to do, message, skill. Okay, let's do this one. To do, we need, I think it needs an identifier. I think that's probably the right thing. Achievements don't really have identifiers, other than their pointers. They're just listed. They're not in any particular order. And really, it's just a string, to tell you the truth. I think we should have an optional timestamp for an achievement, but I'm not going to use it, of course, for the most part. Let's say like date time, like on. How about on? On. So on. Then we have, let's like an identifier. Identifier. No, we just have this, the achievement itself. So we could say string summary, a summary of the achievement. That's all we want. We don't want more than that, because this thing about a resume, people, a resume is to tease or troll the person that's going to give you the job into getting you an interview. If you give them too much information in the resume, they're not going to interview you. They're going to make a decision about you ahead of time. They're going to go, man, I got enough information here to know that I don't want to talk to this person. So you want to tantalize the person that's interviewed. It sounds really weird, but you want to tease them so that when they read your resume, they're like, I think we really need to know more about this person. And then they go to your website, and now you've got them on the hook. And some people would argue that you should have kind of a sparse website as well, so they can't make a decision based on all just that. The real thing you want is you want to get a face-to-face interview at some point. And the less information you can give them, ironically, the more that they might want to talk to you, because they have answers to fill in. It's like, if you have the key elements on there that's going to attract them, and they go, well, we really need to ask this person about what they. That's my theory anyway. And there's no science behind that. Achievement title or so. I agree. I think the achievement is, no. I don't. Achievement is just a bullet. It's just a bullet point, right? No. Well, no, I think what you're thinking, maybe award. Do you think awards should be different than achievements? I think they probably should. What do you think? I don't know, man. Look, I feel like achievements should be, I don't know. I sometimes, I banter back and forth in my mind about achievements and awards. Do we want an awards section? I don't want an awards section personally. I would rather have, you think so? I guess if you like get the Nobel Prize, it's not for a particular thing that you were doing while you were doing a specific job. It could be an award that's, okay, you convinced me. Yeah, because awards are like the Nobel Prize or something would be for all of your work, right? And that would definitely have a title. And it would be on when you got it. That would be the date that you got it. A date, time. I'm putting on because it might be a date, time. It might be just a date. But if we did do awards, yes, I think we should do awards. My mom likes me. Why not? You could put that as a hidden award. I mean, I think we need an award section. I just think it should be, you know, award. It's optional section. Achievement, skills, awards. Do I have this backwards? No, I don't think I do. All right, so I'm gonna put title and summary. Okay, that's true. Title and summary for sure. Yep, you guys are good. Boolean highlight in various messages. That's a style thing rather than a semantic thing. So the whole difference between HTML and styles. Yeah, see you, bye. Yeah, I have to leave too pretty soon. Yeah, we're making progress though. This is good. Glad you guys are helping. Give an overview of responsibilities for the company. Who says it's a company? So, occupation, position. I do think we need a summary here. I'm going to change my mind on that because that is true. You do need an overview. Actually, we're not going to call this summary. Let's call it, we can either call it summary or overview. Summary. I guess summary is good. Now I have to change all these numbers. God damn it. See, I don't like this. I'm going to have to make a tool for this. This is just not, I'm sure there's something that exists. I don't know what it is. And there isn't one for VI. That is going to plague my existence. So, and I don't even know if I want to use all 15 because these are all 1 byte. So, but yeah. Occupation. I missed 2. God damn it. You see what I mean? It's like, no, this is seriously going to get tiring really fast. I'm sure there's somebody make an AST. I have to finish Pagan so I can make an AST for Proto so I can then make an AST parser for it. So then I can make a plugin for it. I say that because that's a good use case for Pagan. People wonder, why would you do this? What's it for? That's exactly one of those reasons. If I had it, I could actually capture the syntax of Proto in a grammar, in a Pagan grammar, and then I could generate code to do whatever I wanted to with it, with the AST that would be resulting from it. So that's why. Yeah, I should probably go pretty soon. What else we got? We got achievements. See, I don't think achievements have titles. I'm going to say generally the bullet points of generally displayed as bullet points with Demonstratable metrics. There we go. Accomplishments. I do like accomplishments. I like that much better. I do like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. It's just as long, but who cares? So yeah, accomplishments. Did I spell that wrong? Spell check is not enabled. Why not? I can't, it's like some weird thing for spelling. I can't remember what it is. I know. Did I spell it wrong? Accomplishment. I guess I got it right. Accomplishment. Nice. Okay. So yeah, a summary of an accomplishment. The summary of the accomplishment and the time that the timestamp of the accomplishment, generally speaking. It doesn't have to be precise. At December 5th at 3:03 and 34 seconds, I accomplished the accomplishment message entry. You know, whatever. So highlights. Oh shit. See, so they're calling it highlights. Yeah, we're gonna do interest for sure. Yes. Interest equals 11. I suppose that's anything. That could be personal interests or professional. We have to have languages in here. So I have to have that. Languages. And that's like spoken languages. That's not, you know. Accomplished skills award, interest. We have education. We don't have education here at all. I think actually education doesn't need to be a high thing. We should have, what do you guys think about highlights instead of accomplishments? I'm kind of on the fence. I like both of those words. Here it actually says specify multiple accomplishments. Let's do this. Let's say that a repeated accomplishment is endorsements. We're going to talk about that. I don't know, because it's got to be people that you can go look to. We talked about it a little bit. Highlights. How about that? So repeated accomplishment are all the highlights of your thing. Skills. There, some people say to have a skills section. I don't know. We have a project section, which we don't have yet. We have a work section, which we don't have. Oh wait, this is occupation. So this is. Oh wait, I'm putting these things in the wrong place. Damn it. So this goes in the overall resume. So occupation is your work, and so each work application you have highlights. We have skills associated with a given occupation. Should we keep skills associated with an occupation? I think that probably makes sense. But is it going to be repetitive? I guess, I don't know. Awards. I think awards goes in its own thing. Languages definitely goes in its own thing. Interests in languages goes in its own thing. It goes in the overall resume. So then we have work. We have education. I almost don't want to call it education. I want to call it learning, but I don't like education because it means it's like you have to have gone to a school. What does the word education mean? I want to look at, because I actually would rather put learning there, because sometimes you don't. Synonym for education. Education, training, imply a discipline or development by means of study and learning. Well, there you go. The education's fine then. All right, so tuition, education. So, I mean, I don't want to put school here because that's not it. You know, it's, I'm having a problem with this one. I really need to go do my yoga. I'm gonna have to leave out this education. So this is gonna really melt my brain because you know what I feel about education, not meeting traditional pedagogy. That actually is a good word because that does indicate the way that you acquired the learning. That's like $1 million word, Quint. Most commonly understood approach to teaching. See, I don't like the word teaching because it's a transitive verb. It implies banker education, like Freire talks about. It's more about learning or helping people learn. So we need one word that encapsulates any way of learning, and that includes school. Process. Let's see. It is the theory and practice of learning and how this process is influenced by social, political, blah, blah, blah. So one form of pedagogy would be, you know, Socratic in a classroom. It is the study of how knowledge and skills are imparted in educational context. So yeah. I almost want to put like method. So what is the method of your learning? What is the method of your education? Well, I went to school and training. Yeah. Training has a different implication, unfortunately. I wish it didn't. What is the, you know what? We'll just make it education. So the education section is composed of education bullet points. So, or sections, subsections. So education, and then we can put whatever that is. You can say what type, right? We should probably have that. So we should have type of education, and we can make that enumeration, enum. And I don't know how to do that. So you can do like it's a school, it's a self whatever. Boswell Rambo Camp, because I was gonna go do yoga and I'm gonna go do it right now. And my head's cold. Yeah, we need more of this. And we need to do like school, books, online. I mean, there's so many ways to learn right now. Rambo yoga, yeah. Mentored, etc. So I really want to capture all those different ways. Punch well, yeah. So yeah, I think we're making progress. I really appreciate you guys' input on this. And it'd be fun to have you guys submit your resumes to the system when it's done. I wasn't planning on doing that, but it's going to be super easy. If I'm already making one way to access my resume over gRPC, why not allow people to access your resumes and then search the thing? Yeah. You know, and we can just host it somewhere and put a simple front end on it for a CLI and or something else. And now people can like mash up our microservice with resume interests to their services, and think about that for a second. It'd be like registering your GPG keys in some sort of, you know, way. You could register yourself with the system, and then I don't know. I mean, at some point I want to put it into the skill stack anyway. The skill stack app that I've been building. So I didn't intend this to become anything more than just my resume, but it's kind of grown into something. Which is really fun. Makes my resume really fun to write. I'm going to go ahead and drop. I've got a lot to do, and I've got some stuff coming up, and not counting yoga. I will be back on tonight. I promised I'm still going to put yoga on exactly. I'm yoga trained. I've got nearly a certificate on that. I've got like a couple classes left that I have to teach before I'm on that. but I want to put that in my resume, but it has no business going in my terminal application developer resume application. But I only want to maintain one resume database. I don't want to have data everywhere. All I want to have, like, God forbid I have 15 resumes at all. Does this bullet point count for this? And so we all need our own little personal databases, YAML files, whatever, of our resumes that we can like manage and change the views of those resumes. You can put anything into your CV. You can, but that's not. But I don't agree, because there's sometimes I'm going to apply to a thing and I don't want to burden them with this extra data. If they ask for the extra data, they can have it. But I want to stick with being able to present, here's one page of all the stuff I've done that's related to terminal. Here's my yoga resume. Here's my intelligence resume, here, whatever. And that kind of thing. So yeah. All right, I think I'm done. I will be back later tonight to finish this and other things. I'm toying with the idea of doing beginner stuff tonight, but I can't promise that yet. I'm going to be off doing yoga. Have a great day, night, whatever it is.